It never goes smoothly with James, does it?
No, because I've always got other windows open. I'm not just like sitting here with Audacity just ready to go.
I think I'm going to start doing this as well, by the way. So you'll hear this a little bit differently. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Matt.
James,
Brilliant,
James. Did you not do it?
I didn't know you were actually going to do it. I thought that was just like a demonstration.
No, I might just... Maybe there was too many claps between. Okay, ready?
No, it's fine.
Shall I stop recording and start again?
No, it's fine. Keep this.
Right,
It's all good stuff.
Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner and I'm here with James. How you doing, James? You all right?
I'm all right, Dave. How are you?
You had a good week? Don't just say I'm all right. How are you? How you doing? You good?
Give some
Having
detail.
a good week?
Yeah, not bad, I guess. It was only the beginning of the week, innit? I can't make a judgment yet. That's
Okay.
what it's like.
Sean Bell's here. How's your week going, Sean? You good?
Yeah, pretty good, mate. Did a bit of work this morning. Boss thought it was really good. Had a team meeting, absolutely smashed it. It's been a fascinating day. A lot of information that everyone needs to hear about me and my day. It's all good stuff. Drinking some Calypso Blue lemonade. I think I might die. But we'll see.
I should explain to our listeners that Sean has lost his job. He's not worked in over 2 months, and I think he might be going mad. So, okay, Sean, yeah, great. There's good news about that, boss, mate.
And as soon as I finish this bottle, I'll be feeling pretty good.
Okay. We need to clip that. Unfortunately, Matt can't be with us this week. He's too busy. So, no, when real life gets in the way, you can't do a podcast about video games. That's the slogan, isn't it?
That is. That's a good maxim to live by. You know, when we got that question last week about what rules to teach your kids, I think that's a solid one, to be honest.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, if there's serious stuff going on, not serious, but if there's life stuff going on, don't go on Discord and chat about video games with your mates and record it and put it on the internet. It's probably best to deal with life stuff first.
Yeah,
correct.
Priorities. Yeah,
good.
Yeah.
So yeah. Sean's doing the feedback this week. But first of all, before we get to that, of course, we would like to announce our Patreon producers for this month. They are Aaron Patrick, Simon Nelson, Tom S., Jack Oven, Moomin Biscuit, Richard Sawyer, Dave Ernsberger, and Steve Garrett. They're the full Nels team. They're the squad. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You do a five-a-side football team with that. Maybe we'll do that. The full Nels five-a-side football team. We'll sort it all out, and we'll invite them down, and you can all watch them every week on YouTube.
Ideally, it'd be like five-a-side with a couple of subs. You know, if anybody's feeling generous, you know, that'd be nice.
Sorry, James. What?
Oh, forget it.
No, go on. Ideally, it would be five-a-side with a couple of subs.
Yeah, I'm trying to say we need more patrons that have done that.
And
we've got 8. Good. That's five-a-side with a couple of subs, mate. That's more than a couple of subs. Let's
five-a-side. There's 8, Dave.
Yes, but you're only fielding one team. What, you want to do a whole, you want to do 5 on 5?
We're getting them to play against each other, yeah.
No, we're going to enter them into the Power League. This is it. We're going to take over the full Nels team. We're going to go global. But let's push for an 11-a-side team. Let's get a Sunday League side going. That's what I reckon.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Go to patreon.com/TCGS to sign up to our Patreon. Different tiers. We've just made our In the Quiz Inning episode available to all, but you could have seen that a month early by signing up on Patreon at the $10 tier. I don't know if we can call it that at the moment, but
it's all a bit. I feel
a little bit lost without Matt to sort of step in and explain what's going on with Patreon.
Because I think we're actually going to be charging in pounds soon, but then I've no idea what that looks like.
Okay, well, good luck with that.
Yeah.
We've got our bonus show out, hopefully this week, maybe next week. So get a sign up before that comes out, and you'll get it the moment it drops.
And if you go full Nels, you might be press ganged into a football team. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will force you in that football team.
Yeah.
Oh, but I don't play football. Well, I don't care. Get in goal.
I want backups in every position.
What, you the fucking manager?
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
God.
why not? I can picture James in one of them fucking massive coats, looking
James
miserable and rich.
I've heard James talk about football, and it's always emotional and never technical. That's the thing with James.
That's what you need,
It's
mate.
always...
What can I say? I'm a passionate person.
Could you imagine his team talk before the game goes out? Listen, lads, we're probably going to lose. So, we're all shit. We're shit. We're going to lose 8-0. And can we get this wrapped up within... I know it's an hour long, but can we do
No, you just say, can we just not embarrass ourselves too much? Can we just keep it...
No, honestly, if there's a football manager amongst us, it's Matt, isn't it? Like proper Mr.
Yeah.
Motivator, Chris Agabusi type, getting in there, getting everyone pumped up. That's it. The full Nels team are going to rock the world. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. Right. Feedback. Sean,
Feedback.
What we got?
Hello, I'm Matthew Murray. Welcome to the feedback section. Obviously,
No, you're not.
we got stuff about the bet, but I think we've agreed we're just not going to get into that. For one thing, it's been dragging on quite a bit, and for another, Matt's not here to defend himself, so let's not kick him while he isn't. No, wait, you can't kick someone while they're not around.
Okay, Sean, let's slow down a little bit.
Okay.
I have got a clip to play.
Okay.
And I think it's right. He's not here to defend himself, so let's not kick him while he's not here. So let's just play the clip.
Can't you? Yeah.
No, let's just play the clip with no explanation. We'll just play it out. This was, if you remember last week, Matt said to me, "Well, go back and I want to listen to the full bit of the bet. I want to listen to the whole thing." So I went back and listened to it, and this was as Matt was summarising the bet at the end of this section. So I'll play this. No need to comment. Let's give it a listen and see what you think.
Suggest over the next week. Yeah. So we need forfeits for who's going to lose this bet. This bet's happening. So come up with your ideas, and we'll pick some good ones.
So the bet is that it's the UK day one price of these consoles. I believe Microsoft will be cheaper than the PS5, and James thinks the PS5 will be cheaper than the Series X. Are we doing Series X, or are we just doing Xbox? What are we doing?
No, don't start that shit, Matt. You're not wriggling out.
If we're just doing day one consoles, we haven't seen the full breadth of what.
Well, actually, no, we have got a problem with this. What if it is? Right, Sean and I will decide. Yeah, Sean and I will decide. We're the adjudicators in this situation.
I've got another thing actually. When Apple released a new iPhone, they often then.
So then, Matt goes on and talks about the new iPhone. But I know it sounded like that whole idea was rejected by James, but we're not going to comment. So we're just playing that clip out with no editorial. Should we get on to the next bit of feedback, Sean?
Yeah, why not? Reese says, "Hi, boyos. It seems to have had some backlash regarding my patented flaps as a buffer theory. A listener proposed that the PS5 flaps, registered trademark, may act more like a car spoiler and use the aerodynamic shape to prevent the PS5 from tearing in half. I must respond to this and debunk this theory, as the air from the centre of the flaps, TM, would in fact put pressure away from the centre of the console. So if my buffer theory is incorrect and they act as spoilers, then the only logical solution is that the PS5 contains an actual black hole, and the air pressure forcing the flaps, TM, in opposite directions is maintaining the structural integrity of the console against the vacuum of the black hole and preventing the implosion of the world as we know it. Bit of a stretch if you ask me, because the disk drive would throw off the aerodynamics anyway. Cheers, Reese. Thanks for clearing that up.
Well, a little bit of news broke today about the ventilation system in that thing,
should we just do that now? Because it's not in the news, is it? It's not really a news story.
There's no need to really go into it. But if reports are correct, those vents at the top and the front are taking air in.
The holes are at the front, but it doesn't look like the flaps are anything to do with it, does it?
Well, it would have been weird had they put bits of plastic that apparently push air out next to a vent that takes air in. That seems like that would create a rip in the solar system that we would all fall into eventually.
Also,
which I'll be honest with you, Sean, is probably how 2020 is going to end anyway.
Probably.
Do you know what I mean? It's where it's going. Go on, James, sorry.
So this system, right? It sucks. So it's actually actively sucking air in. Is that the plan, right?
Yeah,
and then
but that's what,
chucking it out the back.
That's what Microsoft's. That's what the Xbox Series X does, right?
I've no idea.
I don't know, because I'm just thinking about all the dust it's going to be sucking in.
Well, we said this about we said it about the Xbox as well, because we've known for a while that it can take air in at the bottom of the
like
console. No, it's not
like a little
Hoover,
room, but you can just set it off around the room and just hoovers up all your crisps.
I suppose it's got a bringing air from. I don't know if you've noticed, listeners, but we're not experts in any of this. We're going to give it away now. We're going to let you look behind the curtain, but we don't know what we're fucking talking about.
Because the other detail I enjoyed was that they've also they've recommended that you leave like about 15 centimeters of space on all axes around it, so the buffer thing doesn't even fit anymore.
That console, with the buffer space and the console, it takes up more room than that new Mario Kart toy.
Well, they want us to do that thing, don't they, where you put it like on a table in the middle of the room and just like leave it there.
Yeah.
You know,
no one knocks it over because it'll
it's like
destroy
those
the floor.
videos, those like pictures of like influencers and stuff trying it and doing that. That was just because they had to do that, not because there's any other reason.
Yeah.
Have we got anything about the PS5 in the news bit?
Yeah, we got the thing about the save game stuff, but that's it.
So, do we want to talk about the looks of the thing now? Because we've finally seen what. It's all been rendered stuff before, isn't it?
We know for a fact how fucking big it is now, don't we?
Yeah, we knew how big it was, but I don't know why, but I was really shocked that the black bit in the middle was glossy and not matte, because if you go back and look at the renders that they were putting out, like when they initially showed it off and all that, it was a matte finish around that thing.
Oh yeah,
and I think it looks worse now that it's like massive and glossy, and the flaps and stuff, the way they come round, they look further away from that middle bit than I thought they would be. I don't know, man. I've seen a lot of people on the internet saying, I can't believe how weird and fucked up this console looks, and I love it. And I just think, why that last bit? Seriously, why that last bit?
And see, that I don't understand either, because they're like, oh, it's different. It's like, it's not like the sort of, same as everything else. It's like, yeah, but that's not necessarily a good thing.
It's
not
always.
It's not always. Good thing. But I will say this, there was a shot of it on not on its side, it was vertical, but it was turned 90 degrees, so you were just seeing the top of it basically standing up. That didn't look too bad.
Oh yeah,
I
like
what that looked like next to my TV. Channel love that. If I just
I know.
Box there.
Can't you just like stick some of the kids' pictures on it? Like,
well, no, because they'll melt off or set on fire.
See, I was fine.
Sucked into
fine
the
with the controller,
like a bird in a jet engine out the other side.
But the actual machine, I think, it doesn't look great, does it? I mean, there'll be a revision, won't there? Like in about 2 years' time, and everyone will be like,
we will get used to it. We'll get used to it, and then there'll be smart asses going, "Oh, do you remember when everyone was kicking off about the look of the PS5, and you've all got one now?" Yeah, because you get desensitized to these things.
I know,
it's not
would
good.
you say we were ever used to the Xbox One, like the original one?
Mate, I've got one. It's great.
Yeah, I know. They're
console.
Still ugly though, aren't they?
It's really. I know, but it's ugly, but it's also unobtrusive. Like you just put it somewhere.
I thought it's pretty
a
fucking
horrible
big.
Black box, but that's it. Whereas the PS5, it's really obvious, isn't it? Like when you put it, it's it's going to draw attention.
We should also be clear as well, right? The 3 designs that have been presented to us for these next gen consoles, none of them are good, in my opinion. The Series X, I just, why is it that shape? I'd much rather it like the Xbox One X. I think is one of the best looking consoles that I've owned. Right? It's basic, it's basic. It's boring, fine, but I think it looks smart. Right? I even like the original PS4. I thought looked good when I first saw it. When they whacked an extra layer on it for the Pro, I was kind of like, okay, you're taking the piss now. But I don't know. You look at the Series X, weird shape. The Series S, that massive, great big spot on it, I just think is ugly. And then you've got the PS5. It's not a great generation for looks, is it?
I mean, we should point out that the other thing that's come out is that apparently it is fucking silent. So maybe that's
Thank God
part
for
of the the size of it is assisting with cooling stuff somehow. But I don't know.
Yeah, well, you know what?
I'll believe that in about a couple of months' time after it's come out, whether it's silent or not.
I will take an ugly console that runs silent than a good-looking one that doesn't. Exactly. To be honest with you, yeah, that's the main thing.
Because when you're using it, you're not looking at it, but you might still fucking hear it. So,
also, the other we should point out as well that the other thing that's come out of all these early impressions of the PS5 is that one of the problems that we were worried about was the lights being on the front, or the LEDs on the front. Apparently, they're barely even noticeable, and when you're playing it, they're white. So then you don't really even see them. That's the reports I've been reading anyway. So they're not as distracting as we were worried about. We were comparing it to the Wii at one point.
Oh God,
whoever come up with that idea, Jesus. The disc tray just like brightening up. That was horrible.
It was like pulsing, wasn't it?
It was pulsing, and it would wake you up. It was like having a lighthouse in your bedroom.
Well, yeah, because the first time it did it was fucking magical. But then, 3 a.m. fucking lighting up the living room. Like, nah, it's enough.
Oh,
it's enough.
So when the Wii came out, I was living in Milton Keynes, right? And I think, it was the second year. So I'd only owned it for about 8 or 9 months before I moved home. And when I moved home, I had to buy myself out of a contract with the work that I was in. And because of that, I had to move in with my mum and dad for a couple of months afterwards, right? So I moved in with them. And of course, I took the Wii and everything. And my mum rung me up. She woke me up the next day and said, something's going on downstairs. Can you check what it is? It's like, something's going on down there. And I went down there, and it was the Wii lighting up the front room, the hallway, and the stairs. so it was like, it was like she thought the police had shown up.
Have I never told you about the Wii at my mum's? I think so. My brother gave her his when he was done with it, because I think she was just playing like Just Dance and stuff on it. But and I've noticed when I go around now that she's turned it so that it's lying like on its front. And I mean, I don't think she's an idiot, so I think it's to stop so she doesn't have to look at the blue light. But then I don't know why she would receive any notifications on a Wii in 2020 anyway. But
everybody votes, Sean. Still going. Everybody votes.
Oh, is everybody votes still going?
No, I think he's joking.
Not.
Okay.
I think he's joking there,
You got me excited, man. I loved everybody votes. I voted.
Did you? Did you know gullible's not in the dictionary, Sean? Right, okay.
Sorry, that went on a bit, didn't it? @6squid_games says, Virtua Fighter. Deny its existence all you want, I can assure you I'm a steadfast member of the very real Matt Murray Appreciation Society. That being said, we're currently rebranding. Last week's episode came as an epiphany for my fellow parishioners and myself when David, formerly a disbeliever in our collective, mentioned Suzuki-san's, quote, Virtua Fighter games are fucking fantastic. Not only that, he proudly stated that, quote, that's my favourite beat-em-up of all time, 1 hour, 9 minutes and 2 seconds. That's brand loyalty. At our most recent meeting, a single question started as a whisper grew to a full-on chant. What if TCGS code real Sega fan was actually David Turner? When the vigorous chanting died down, we decided I would write to formally ask whether you, Mr. Turner, would be generous enough to represent us at the upcoming Virtua Fighter esports events. Tallying up all the Sega-related mentions on the show, you lead the pack. You truly bleed blue and white. Although Mr. Murray tried to ride your glorious coattails and blurt out, yeah, Virtua Fighter is one of the few I did like. Our former leader is on probation, as his fandom is under review, and therefore cannot represent us at Sega events. Mr. Turner, we hope you kindly accept our offer and don the hallowed clothes of Akira Yuki.
Look, listen, I appreciate the invite. I'm going to have to say no because this whole society has a dodgy history. I mean,
it's tainted.
You don't want to. Yeah, it's very tainted now, I think. Yeah. Very tainted. They picked the wrong guy. They realised it now, but it's too late. I think that's the way I'm going to go with that. But also, I should point out, my Sega fandom should not be a surprise to you. I was the Sega dude when I first started posting on the internet. That was literally my nickname.
Oh, that was actually
Sega dude.
Wow.
Yeah, that was when we were talking about, this was ages ago, Sean, this might have even been on JoyPod. We were talking about what was your first username when you logged into like the internet. So like when you first went on a chat room and you were like, it was like, what's your name going to be?
Yeah.
And you sit there. Matt's was like, what was
16-bit
Matt's?
pixel.
The 16-bit pixel, that was him.
Was it? Well, that's interesting. I don't know if he's actually played any 16-bit pixel games, but
James, what was yours?
It was too embarrassing, so we can move on.
No. We're doing it.
I think it was just no. I don't want to go through this.
Oh, come on! You know it. It's in your head.
It's utterly pathetic. It was just. I think it was just Jimmer. I think.
Right,
Yeah.
there's no way it was just Jimmer. He's
say,
giving me an answer to throw me off.
No, it was.
We know each other so well. So when I tried to trip you up during the bet argument yesterday, I was blown away that you instantly knew what I was trying to do, right? It really impressed me. I instantly know that you're bullshitting now. No, it's too embarrassing. Oh, okay, it's Jimmer. It was Jimmer.
It's embarrassing. It sounds terrible.
Fuck off,
Jimmer,
James.
what's wrong with
If you
Jimmer?
don't want to say, you don't want to say. I know, it's not. Sean, he's lying to get out of the
I'm not
question.
lying.
He knows what it is. The Canterbury Tale. It probably was or something like that. Go on.
Didn't live in Canterbury then.
The
but,
Archbishop of Canterbury. Okay. What was yours, Sean?
Shadow.
Oh my god!
Yeah. No, I know. Not good, is it? No, do you know what it's from? It was he's a character in Final Fantasy VI.
I don't care.
That was my
Shadow.
excuse, but no, obviously it's terrible. But yeah.
This was
No,
your
I think
hacker
mine's-
alias.
I do. Yeah, but hold on. What was it on Shadow? Like, what were you logging into?
Teamchat.com.
Teen Chat. I don't know.
and to be
that
clear-
one. We was like,
To be clear, I was very
AOL.
much a teenager when this was.
yeah, AOL chat and all that sort of stuff.
Did you ever use
was-
ICQ? God, that was awful.
Yeah, I did.
I
yeah.
do remember ICQ. Yeah, I hated that. I had a Wrongmuck server. I was on that for a bit and then come out of it.
Yeah.
But so I was the Sega dude. I loved Sega, and then I realised that we backed the wrong. We backed the wrong horse on that one. I look back at it and go, actually, I should have just swapped earlier. But no, Virtua Fighter, man. I've always been a massive fan of that. Always been a massive fan of that series. I remember spending. Yeah, what was the last one? Virtua Fighter 4.
There was a 5,
three.
wasn't there? I think there was a 5.
Was it 5? That was the
Yeah.
one on the 360.
Matt'd know.
No, we wouldn't. Go on, Anyway, the last Virtua Fighter I played a lot of, and the one before that, and all of them actually. Go on.
Lee Hennigan says, all right, lads, just wanted to give a big shout out to John Denton for putting me onto Hades on last week's show. I've been hammering it
cheers,
for days,
John.
and it's probably my game of the year so far. With the game of the year show only a couple of months away, can we get Matt to at least give Hades a go to prevent the inevitable I haven't played it so I can't vote for it stumbling block we usually get? I'd also like to see at least one of you give Ori and Will of the Wisps a proper tryout, as it's easily in my top 3 games of the year, and I don't think any of you ever got into it. On that note, which sleeper hits would each of you... I don't know, this is going into a question now. I mean, have we got any... I can't think of anything that I'm like, fuck, everyone needs to play this or else I'm going to be furious. Games.
No, I mean Hades would be it for me. I'm sure there's. I mean, there's still plenty of time for more games to come out where we're all going. You got to play this game. I mean, I was a little bit pissed off no one tried Rogue Company, but that
It's gone free to play. I mean, I've had to beat a key, so I've got no excuse. I just
yeah. So that's pretty good, but I think you need to be with a very specific group of people for that.
John Denton.
Yeah. James, have you got one?
No, I can't think of anything. You played all
I'm
most of the
surprised
stuff
you've
that
not played
legit-
Ori.
No, I'm not going around to that. Maybe I should.
Have you
Not
played the
gonna-
I
first
think
one?
you should.
but,
I think you'd like it.
Maybe after I get a new Xbox, I will.
Oh, yeah. If you get an Xbox that works, you can go back and play all the games you've missed out on the console.
Well, it's out on Switch, isn't it? What are the
It is, but it's free on the Xbox, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And no, I don't mean actually free before you all email in. I mean it's on Game Pass, which costs a set amount per month.
I should also point out that, we've been trying to get Matt to play Hades for ages, but instead he is currently, have you heard this? He's currently addicted to the Xbox reward points.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah, so he was playing some really random game because apparently it was an easy 10,000 gamer points or whatever that goes towards his rewards, Xbox rewards. I don't know. He needs to play Hades because it is,
Very good.
I mean, it's almost definitely on my list.
Derek says, you, along with everyone else, seem to be struggling with Microsoft's console naming, mixing up Series S, X, and One X.
There we go. There we go.
During the flow of conversation. Can I suggest some nicknames to help with the next-gen machines, the Obelisk and the Xbox DJ? I mean, they're pretty good, but we've already got.
No, you don't get to choose them. You could suggest that we come up with nicknames, and we absolutely should do that now. It's such a shame Matt's not here. Ugh.
I mean, we've been calling the Series X the fridge, right?
That's the fridge.
It is
so
the fridge.
From now on, from this point, when we talk about the Series X, we're going to call it the fridge.
Yep.
That's it. And
Big F.
I think that might have been John Denton coming up with that as well, but he might have taken that from somewhere. So I don't know. But the Xbox
there's no
Series
original
X is
ideas
the fridge
anymore,
now.
Dave. It's fine.
No, there's not. What are we going to call the other thing?
I mean, it's a speaker, isn't it?
That's what I said. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Well, that's what everyone's called
The speaker's all right, but it feels like it needs a one-syllable word. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I do quite like the DJ, but it's only one.
Again,
it's only one. So it's a
speaker.
It's not
DJ. It's
yeah, and plus it's only one turntable, isn't it? If it had two of the black circles on it, then it'd be the DJ. But there's only one. Unless we just call it the turntable and the fridge.
See, because I was thinking today, it looks like one of those home hub things, where you talk to it.
Oh, yeah.
It does things for you. But so I was thinking the hub. But if we're calling one console the hub, it's going to be the PS5, isn't it? It can't be. It can't be the Series S.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe the speaker then for now.
Yeah.
The speaker and the fridge. Let's see how long we go before we balls that up.
No time
okay,
at all, I
cheers.
imagine.
Thanks for the suggestion. We will take that on board.
See, we do. We always graciously accept criticism.
Yeah, always.
Yeah. I mean, Kaiser Soze got in touch again, but it's a bit nasty. It's not really worth reading out. So that's it. That's the end of the feedback.
Just a little bit mean and nasty there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it was one of those situations. You get the first email. We ask for more clarity. We get the second email. We have a laugh a bit because we think they're playing along.
Yep.
And then we get the third one, and it's, oh, no, you were serious, and now you're being quite mean. Yeah. That's fine. Okay. Well, if you're listening, Kaiser Soze, good luck to you, mate. You don't have to listen to us.
Apparently he's erased us from his life.
He's
but yeah,
listening, boy.
If you want to leave us feedback, if you're not that person and you want to leave us feedback, submit it at tcgs.co/Dear TCGS.
James, I think the news is calling and asking to be read out by you, James Farley, Professor, Esquire. That's it, James. Go on.
Yeah, I mean, it's been I'll be really pleased because it was a really slow week for news, and there's hardly anything that happened this week, which is really good. I mean, apart from the continued mess that is the PlayStation 5, like as in the messaging that is connected with it and everything, connected with it.
Go on.
Okay, so the first thing I've got is about Dirt 5 and also Yakuza, because you can't carry those saves over from PS4 to PS5. So if you start the game like PS4 version of those, you can't then transfer it over to PS5 and all that kind of thing. So it continues to be a mess. I mean, Xbox got in quick, to have to put the boot in. So it was Aaron Greenberg tweeted just saying at Xbox we put gamers first, which is quite funny. And then also Major Nelson said, cloud saves and 4 generations of compatibility means I can pick up where I left off in Fallout 4 from the comfort of my Xbox Series X. So yeah, that's just they're. I mean,
they're allowed to, aren't they? After the digs that Sony got in during the PS5, was it the PS4, Xbox One stuff?
Yeah, that must have really burned because people always mention that all the time as being a thing.
Well, it was it was so funny. It was those little videos of them. This is how you lend a game to a friend.
Yeah.
That Sony did to take the piss out of Xbox was so good and so spot on. And rode that wave of positivity going into the PS4. It was, it was perfect. I mean, Microsoft are allowed to get a few digs in here and there, but this one's just confusing to me. So it seems as though you can't transfer your saves from an old generation version of a game to a new generation version of a game, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Because they're technically different.
But you can do that
titles.
with Miles Morales.
Yeah, it seems to be on a case-by-case basis. It's not like it is with Xbox. It's basically, which is, it works across generations or whatever. I think this must be, I have no idea if this is true, but it must be because they must handle, the title names or something differently for the PS5 and the PS4 so that they're not the same game, at all, in any way, and that's why you can't easily transfer them across. Whereas the thing that Microsoft have done, which is definitely a really good thing, is they've worked on the smart delivery thing where it is essentially the same game, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's just
different
different
no.
assets, etc.
There's still different versions of those games, right? There's still going to be a last-gen version of Valhalla and a new version of it.
I don't know if that's how it works on Xbox with the smart delivery thing. I don't think it is.
But we don't know what the smart delivery thing is. That could just be a name for you get it for free, or you get.
Because I think the point is. So I think the idea is that certainly, with smart delivery, it's one copy of the game, and that just gives you the best version for whatever hardware you're using. But obviously, as we've now seen, Microsoft have no power to actually make people make their games smart delivery. So there are certainly going to be instances where you're being run £70 for the next gen version or less for the previous gen version. But so there's going to be instances of this on the Xbox as well, I think.
The main concern is Cyberpunk's going to be the first massive game. You've got Cyberpunk coming out on this it's launching on this generation's consoles. And then it will be upgraded early next year to next-gen consoles.
Mm.
And if people put 50, 60 hours into the old generation one, and then it automatically upgrades to the new one, does that mean they lose their saves?
On paper, yes. But as James says, it looks like developers can. I mean, I assume it's up to developers to come up with their own workarounds, which will probably be upload your save here and then download it to the new, the new game or whatever. But that's going to be like the developers' workaround. I think that's like a real sort of like Sony approach to stuff. Yeah,
of
just leave it up to people, figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
There's no unified approach. I mean, it's a bit like, do you remember when Sony first got into online play, into multiplayer stuff?
Yeah, it wasn't good.
And you had an Xbox Live, you had, they just made everything so it's very simple, one single sign in, all that kind of stuff. Whereas Sony were just developers can figure it out for themselves.
And that's why, because
that's how we ended up with SOCOM.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And that's why every Sony online game had the fucking terms of service, wasn't it? Because Sony just went, I'll write your own. Mm-hmm. Whereas Microsoft just went, no, these are the terms of service for every Xbox Xbox Live game. Once you've accepted once, that's it. Whereas Sony just went,
do you remember the trouble they went through to try and get people to change their PSN ID?
Yeah.
Okay, if you change your PSN ID, you may not have access to the following games. And you may not be able to play these games online anymore because of this. It was like, fuck, man, what is going on in the back end at that place?
Yeah,
I mean, this is one area where Microsoft's definitely win in inverted commas, hands down with all this sort of stuff, because they've obviously got institutional knowledge of the importance of backwards compatibility and all that kind of thing and legacy stuff because of Windows and because of all the things with that they get this fact that people are going to want to do things over generations and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because
I
think
I don't
even
get that.
I think still even now. Well, I've not tried it in Windows 10 because it's just not come up. But I definitely remember Windows 7. It was if you were trying to run an old program, it'd just be do you want to pretend it's Windows 95 or Windows NT or whatever?
Yeah,
you could spoof it. So
it
that stuff
didn't
would
always work very well.
Yeah.
But it was still there as they understood that you needed to give legacy support for stuff because there were so many businesses and all that kind of thing that relied on software like that. It's why you had Internet Explorer still embedded for such a long time because people were still using that for business applications and stuff.
Yeah.
And whereas I don't think Sony get any of this. They just don't seem to care at all. And this is always, I think, has been one of their biggest weaknesses is software. And they're not great at it.
All right, well, let's see what happens. I mean, I'm pretty sure they'll sort it out by the time that Cyberpunk comes out next gen. They'd be mad not to. There'd be uproar.
Yeah.
But
but then that might just be for CD Projekt Red to sort out. Speaking of which, what's next in the news, James?
Yeah, I mean, CD Projekt Red have been enforcing mandatory crunch on Cyberpunk 2077. So, I mean, Cyberpunk 2077 has now gone gold, as it were, isn't it? They've sent it to Microsoft and to Sony or whatever.
Yeah,
although
that's
printed.
Sort of largely meaningless for a game like this, isn't it? There will be
they're
a day one
now
patch.
working on the day one patch, aren't they?
Which will actually finish the game. But
yeah. So what it is that the team has now been ordered to work overtime in order to get it ready for the November launch.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been told that they've got to work like 6 days a week and that this is kind of mandatory. Bloomberg have said that some staff have already been working like additional nights and weekends for more than a year on this. And I mean, they're adhering to Polish labour laws, so people are obviously being paid for this. But one of the reasons this is, I mean, apart from the fact that it's crunch, but also CD Projekt did make a big thing about how they weren't going to do crunch, and it was, they weren't going to do this anymore, because it was in May last year. They said they were going to have a non-obligatory crunch policy, meaning that like staff would be asked to work nights and weekends, but were not required to do so. Like there wasn't any sort of anybody who's going to like force them to. But that's obviously they've gone back on that, and the studio head Adam Badowski has said, like he says, he acknowledged the mandatory 6-day breaks. Breaks the promise that they made last year. He says, "I take it upon myself to receive the full backlash for the decision. I know this is in direct opposition to what we've said about crunch. It is also in direct opposition to what I personally grew to believe a while back, that crunch should never be the answer. But we've extended all other possible means of navigating the situation." He's basically saying, we've got to do this. There's no choice.
No choice, yeah.
But, crap, innit? Yeah, I mean, you could just delay. That's the other choice, is you just delay slightly. But
well, again, we've been through that. Like, it depends what sort of funding gets cut and how much that hits them financially by delaying it. It's not very nice, is it? Especially, I mean, I was wondering where that sentence was going to go. I know this is against everything we said, and but
I've changed my mind.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what it sounds.
Yeah,
it sounds like it's no good, is it?
Yeah, I mean, because obviously, yeah. My first thought upon reading this was like, well, God, I assumed that they'd been crunching anyway for a while at this point, but yeah. So the distinction is that it wasn't actually mandatory, but people were anyway. Which obviously, some people will point out and go, well, people were choosing to crunch anyway, so what's the difference? Well, the difference is like, yeah, some people will be fine with that, like genuinely, but that then puts that pressure on everyone else, and it's people who've got lives outside of work or families or whatever, or just don't want to risk like damaging their own health to make a computer game. And yeah, it's shit. It's a real shame. I mean, like taking it at face value, I suppose, yes, they do seem to like acknowledge that, like, at least they're not shrugging their shoulders and going, well, hey, that's game development. But I suppose in a way they kind of are. It's just there seems to be a degree of regret there, I suppose.
I can't see this ever changing. We've been talking about this for years. I can't see it ever changing. Genuinely, how do you get out of this?
Well,
a company is spending millions and millions and millions of dollars creating a video game, and they're about to miss deadline. They're going to make people crunch. That's Well,
no. The only way you stop this is through legislation or through unionisation, which will push for legislation. But that's
which other industries do and broadly works, as far as I'm aware, of the other creative industries.
And certainly with things like this, legislation will only cover so much, and companies will find a workaround, as they always do. I was
reading something, apparently a common workaround in Poland is, so you'll be like a contracted employee for, a certain number of hours, and then you'll be like a freelancer for another 20 hours a week or whatever, and that just circumvents labour laws and stuff. So... Yeah. There's
people like that money. They love that money stuff, don't they? I like it when I've got it.
Nice. This evening I was listening to Games Industry Up Busy's podcast, and they were talking about this, and they were saying, like, is this because CD Projekt like really do actually need the money? Like, as in we don't know, they may be in trouble, and that they really need to get this out to try and make sure things will be okay.
I mean, the cost of developing this must be fucking astronomical.
Yeah, sure, for sure. But they'll make a hell of a lot of money off it. What's that based on, James?
That was just Games Industry.biz. We're just speculating it could be that perhaps.
It's a dangerous thing to speculate, isn't it? It's a dangerous thing to speculate.
Sell your stocks.
They might be running out of money. Is that not slander? We should say that that's based on nothing. Okay, make that clear. Go to
I didn't say
Games
it was my
Industry
idea.
Pod. I know you didn't. I know you didn't, but I just started to worry that just sounds like it's okay. All right.
I mean, I will just say, because people will ask, I'm probably still going to buy it because I'm a coward. Like I've said before, I don't think I'm touching anything that Ubisoft put out anymore until this.
Yeah, that's a bit different, isn't it?
But exactly, yeah, I do feel like this is different, although it is still a form of. Is abuse the right word? Yes, it is. It is, isn't it? It's not the same, but it's still.
Well, without knowing what's going on in those offices, we can't say that.
Yeah,
we can't say that without knowing. We don't know what the work life is over there. We don't know what the people are going through. We don't know what crunch means to each individual person that works there. So to say that, I think, is a bit far.
Yeah.
Whereas we know what's going on at Ubisoft, and it's actually disgusting.
Yeah.
Fucked. Yeah.
So yeah. But I mean, that's. I assume you guys still keen.
So I'm getting Cyberpunk, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
We're all cowards. Yeah. What's next, James?
Okay. Do you want some Google Stadia news?
Fucking every
oh my god!
Every second of my waking life, yes.
I don't like Matt not being here. I'll say it now. I don't like Matt not being here.
Why?
Well, when I hear, do you want some Google Stadia news? The first thing I'm thinking, I can't wait to hear what Matt has to say about this. But he's not here. It's sad. Yeah. It's sad. Go on.
Okay, do you want the good news or the bad news?
No, I forget the good news, baby. Let's get just don't even read out the good news. No, go on, go start with the good news.
Okay, so Google Stadia is finally getting crowd choice. So what this
the fuck is that?
Okay, so it's a kind of like system for watching streamers play Stadia games on YouTube, and it's going to be released alongside Dead by Daylight on the 1st of October. So, in fact, that should be out right now.
Brand new game, yeah.
Yeah. And it's also going to be in Baldur's Gate 3, though.
Right.
That's also happening. And that's coming out on the 6th of October. So, here's how it works. If the YouTuber switches on crowd choice, then Stadia audience can vote on what's going on.
Sounds horrific.
So, if there's like a choice or whatever, then people vote, and then the streamer can then choose if they're going to ignore the result or whatever, or just go ahead with it. So it just brings up like a percentage thing of 55 people said you should murder this person. Well, we all said no, you shouldn't, and stuff like that. And so that's a big new feature.
Nothing new, is it?
No, they've been doing it on Twitch for a while, right?
Yep.
It was in iDarb.
It was.
Where you could just put hashtags in the fucking chat and it affected the game and stuff.
Yeah.
This was a big feature that they talked about, like a rollout.
USP. They talked a lot of weird shit.
Right. Well, okay. Look, if that's not enough, do you want to hear some new games that are coming to Pro?
Right. Okay.
We're getting Human Fall Flat, Super Hot, Lara Croft, Temple of Osiris, Celeste, and Jotun. And so there's now going to be 29 games in the Stadia Pro library.
Oh my god! Oh my word! And you have to buy them, do you?
No, that's part of the subscription. Yeah,
okay.
So you get 29 games.
So I've got some games
now
on there for free now. Okay.
Yeah.
What weird thing Stadia is?
Is it going? The bad news?
That's not the bad news. I thought the lineup of the games was the bad news. Okay.
That was the good news.
Okay, that's the good news. Okay, fine.
Okay. The not so good news, although, I mean, it's not really bad news, but it maybe is a sign of the times.
It's troubling news.
It's troubling news. So Google's got a new Chromecast with Google TV coming out, like very shortly, or maybe even now. I don't know. I didn't check.
Right.
It's not going to officially support Stadia game streaming until next year. Like until the first half of next year. To be fair, it's going to be then. And so this is the replacement product for the Chromecast Ultra. And which they're no longer going to be selling separately, but you can still buy as a bundle with a Stadia controller. But it doesn't have it. But The Verge did manage to sideload the Stadia Android app onto the device, but if you try and buy games through it, it crashes and stuff. And
brilliant.
Yeah, it's not great. So for some reason, their brand new Chromecast stuff, that's the future and everything, doesn't have one of their major services on it.
It's not one of their major services, James. I don't know if you've noticed.
No, it's supposed to be, isn't it? It's the future of gaming, etc.
How long has Stadia been about now? Is it a year?
Is it a year? It must be.
The end of last year it came out in, right?
Yeah. I remember having conversations with Matt about whether he was going to cancel his pre-order around this time.
Yeah, because that was the chat at EGX last year, wasn't it? So that was obviously September-ish. So yeah.
Fucking hell! Wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's it. That's all I've got for the news. It's been a very lean week. Which
It has been very quiet. It's been very quiet. Should we get on to what we've been playing then?
Yeah.
Go on.
Sean, kick us off, mate.
Playing more Hades.
Do you know what? I realised not too long ago that I never choose Sean first, ever. I don't know why.
You always put
You
it off.
usually go last,
He's
or-
got some game in his list that I haven't heard of. And John Denton's not mentioned it either. So
It's pretty much it. Yeah.
I think we
That's
keep
pretty
it
much
for a
it.
treat. You know, for like the last bit. You know, it's like a sort of it's a treat.
that's true. Yeah.
Sure, let's go with that.
Yeah.
Let's go with that. That's what I'm thinking at the time. Okay, go on.
Playing loads more Hades. Still
Just do Hades chat.
well good. Let's do Hades chat.
Where are you up to?
So I'm what about 22, 23 attempts now.
Okay.
So I've got what can I say? So I got past Elysium. And
so you got to fourth area.
yes, and then ate shit. So
Did you not got to the big main boss in that area?
No.
Okay, cool.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay,
Though.
cool.
Looking forward to
right.
it.
Yes.
I still absolutely love it. I am. So I have turned God mode on. Have any of you experimented with this?
Sorry, my Google Home just joined into the chat. Then maybe you didn't
Was it
hear
talking
it, but
about
the listeners
Stadia?
will. No, it just went okay out of nowhere. That was really weird. I've just unplugged it. Sorry, what was the last thing you said?
I was going to say. So I've turned God mode on, which is
What's
I
that?
was umming and ahhing. So it's in the options, and it's basically like all it says is it just like it makes the game easier, and then, it makes you tougher, and then every time you die, you get a little bit tougher still. And I was umming and ahhing over it because like the game's not like impossibly difficult.
Okay.
But I was just a bit in terms of story and stuff. I was just like I was really ready to see more of the game at this point. Right, I feel like I've been doing the same like the first three areas a lot.
This is weird.
Why?
I didn't expect this of you.
What do you mean? I fucking love an easy mode, mate.
I know, but it's like what's weird about this game is that it never feels too difficult, does it? It never feels to the point that you think I'm never going to do this. Like because every run you do get a little bit stronger by you know, and there are runs where you fall short, obviously. But most of the time you think I'm getting closer here. I'm getting closer to the next area. I'm getting closer to finishing this boss. It feels really like well balanced in that regard.
Well, yeah, and this was it. Like I didn't want to, because the reason I was going back and forth on it is obviously I didn't want to turn it on and then just like immediately piss through the game and be like, oh, right, shit. Because that, you know, and as we know, like that's not even how the story works. It's not like, oh, well, you finished it, you've seen all the story. Like it's built around those repeated attempts.
100%.
So yeah, so I was like, well, I don't want it to make it too easy. It doesn't at all. It so if you enable God mode, it gives you like plus 20% defense, right? Which is significant, but it's not like it's not easy mode. I wouldn't call it anyway. Like I've had plenty of like absolutely shite runs since I turned it on. And then it's basically every time you die, it like gives you another 2%. So fine, like. I've been all right with it. It's not made it so easy that I'm just like, oh well, this is pointless. But it's just a little bit of a leg up. So fine.
James, what is your opinion on that?
I've tried it as well.
Oh,
I tried it.
What?
Because
the fuck? I'm outraged.
Why? Why? It honestly doesn't make
because
like
I had one of the best experiences with that game, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This isn't like Dark Souls, and it's not me going, you just need to get good, because it's
got the
clearly
real
not
experience.
That.
No,
Yeah,
but it just gives
clearly
you like
not that.
it gives you a tiny, like a really tiny buff. Like really,
Yeah.
it's not.
But
it's
I don't think
designed-
that buff is needed at all. The whole game's designed around giving you a buff every time you go out there and try and escape.
Well, yeah,
but it just gives
also...
you one more.
Yeah.
Fuck. This is mind blowing to me.
Okay.
This is okay. Fine. As I said, it's not like Dark Souls where you are repeatedly banging your head against the wall, and I could totally understand why someone would want something like that in those games, because I constantly felt myself progressing, and
it's just
okay,
sort of
fine. Play how you want. Who cares? But
it's a time thing as much as anything else. Like. I've got, we're going to talk about Star Wars Squadrons in a bit. I've played about 40 minutes of it, and I've had it since Thursday. And it's because I really just want to get Hades done, and Hades is fucking big. And that's good, but also, fine, it's great, and it's not, I'm not, having a go at the pacing or anything. It's still, every time I'm going back home after dying, there's still new stuff happening, things are still unfolding. It's just a tiny, tiny leg up. And it doesn't offend me.
Yeah, because I think it's very well designed as well the way it does it, because it really isn't sweet, because they call it God mode, but it's not at all.
Not at all.
It's really not. It's just it gives you a slight buff when you're playing, and it's very slight. Honestly, it's
you still have to die.
The win mode.
In order for it to get to a 100% defense, you still got to die 40 times, right? So, yeah, whatever.
Okay.
Where are you up to with it, Dave?
Well, I finished it for the first time this week. I think it took me 42 runs. Was it 42 or 32? I can't remember, James. We spoke about it.
Yeah, I think you said about 42.
Yeah, and I just, mate, honestly, the ending was wonderful. The whole experience from start to finish was wonderful. It's a game worth finishing because the end stuff is just really fucking good.
Yeah,
it's good, isn't it? But then, because I finished it as well, but then it also just made me feel like you're just scratching the surface. If you finish it in inverted commas, because
I didn't have that feeling.
Really? I did.
No, I've been quite happy to put it down for a bit.
I just felt there's so much more story here, to do. There really is. Of
there is.
Exploring what comes after.
Yeah, it makes it very clear
that people who've posted the clear screen, and it's here's how many times you've done it with each weapon, and here's your best times, and I'm oh shit.
It's less about that, and it's less about it gives you a narrative reason to keep on doing it.
Okay.
Cool. It's every time you complete this game, you will be rewarded.
Cool.
And not in a way of here's so much currency.
Yeah.
It's nothing like that. It actually, it hints at stuff. I think, going to talk around the issue, James, but the cop out it does with one of the characters in it after you complete it. Do you know what I'm referring to? Brilliant. We'll talk afterwards.
No, I think I know what you mean, but
there's no point even if you're thinking. Go on. You can't what?
Well, no, because I can't say anything, can I? Because that'll ruin all sorts of things.
Okay. All right. You could have answered yes to what I was talking about, but that's fine. We'll talk about it after the podcast. But there's a bit of a cop out with one of the characters. I'm keen to go back to it for a few more hours to see if they reverse on that, and it's people that have completed it will know what I'm talking about. But all I've got to say about Hades is that I went through 2 weeks of absolutely hammering it, never feeling cheated, never feeling frustrated. I had moments of shouting fuck at the screen as I died and stuff like that, and shock as you get to certain beats of what it's doing. There's big, mouth open moments. The way it switches things up's always been interesting. The additions that it's given along the way has always been exciting. It just seems perfectly paced with all that stuff, constantly surprising. And man, that is some game. It's some game, and it's not one of those games where I think, oh, I'm into roguelikes now, I can't wait to play the next roguelike. It's not like that at all. I love this game. Yeah. I love the combat in this game, and I'm itching to play it in 4K. Genuinely, I really, really am desperate to play this game in 4K. But my word, the experience that I've had with it over the past 2 weeks, I've not had that with a video game for a long, long time. And I definitely had that moment of once I completed it, I thought, do you know what? I don't really want to hammer it again and again because I don't want to get sick of it. I don't want to get tired of it or bored in any way. So I thought, let me just put this down for a few days now and I'll probably go back to it again. And if I don't, it doesn't matter because it feels like I've had a wonderful experience with it, and I don't feel that my time's been wasted at all. It's just what a game, what a game. I love it, and seriously, if you're in two minds, then don't be. Also, I don't know.
Stop it.
I think stop it. You've been naughty. I don't know if you feel the same, James. I'm surprised by how well it controls on just the Joy-Cons. Right? You've been playing in handheld.
I've been playing both. I've been playing on what's called the Pro Controller, but also in handheld.
Yeah, same here
as well.
See, I found. Go on, sorry, you finish.
The only issue I have with playing it with the Joy-Cons or in handheld mode is the buttons. Like your thumb aches a lot. Because you hammer the buttons a lot, and they're tiny little buttons on those things. And when you go back to a Pro Controller, you're like, "Oh my god, I'm in the third area and I haven't got cramp in my hand." Like this is
the
pretty
bosses,
good.
isn't it? It's the Hydra, especially. Like
that fucking
does my fingers in. No, I was going to say, I couldn't tell you why, but my runs in handheld mode are definitely consistently worse than on the telly.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know if it's the screen size or the controllers. Not sure. But...
I think that's part of it because you miss in the queues a lot more. I think.
Yeah, you might be right.
In handheld mode.
Dave, can I ask you one question about the final area, which is how there's like a certain way through that?
Yeah.
Are they random every time?
Yeah, I think so.
Right. Okay.
I know how to explain it.
That.
I found the item in 2 before.
Yeah,
not two separate ones, but like in the second one.
Yeah, I had that once, but then other times it was nearly all of them.
Yeah, I've had that a lot as well. Yeah, it is irritating, but at the same time, the more you go through, the more powerful you become. So it's
I guess so.
There were times where I'd found it really early, but then needed a shop, so went back in and did another couple because I knew I wouldn't get anywhere. 10 out of 10 for me if I was reviewing it. I can't see any reason to knock it down any points. Like, if I was genuinely reviewing it, I can't think of where it doesn't work or if there's any negative points about it at all. Obviously, the stuff that I mentioned last week about the Switch is a problem with the hardware, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could say, they could have made it work a little bit better on the Switch, but... I mean, there's so much going on. How do you keep that stuff going on that system? It's nuts.
And I don't really mind, when things are going absolutely nuts and there's a bit of slowdown. Sort of need it sometimes, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not game breaking.
No, not at all.
But it is, as I say, I'm itching to play this on one of the more powerful consoles just to see it running at like really high frame rates, really high resolution like that. I'm itching for that, which is crazy because when you look at the game, it's an isometric, it's not exactly the most power intensive game, is it? I suppose it's all in the systems and stuff. How much stuff is going on at any one time. Sorry, James, yeah?
Yeah, there were some enemies that irritated more than others, but none that I felt were cheap or anything like that. It was always if I failed, it was my own fault. Always my own fault, and often because of the setup I had. I remember one run I did which was really how you decide to focus on particular sort of builds or whatever, and I'd gone too much with the health side of things. And
God, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, and then it got to I got to one of the bosses, the Elysium one, and it's okay, well, I'm surviving, but I'm doing no damage here, at all. And this is going to take forever, to get through this. And that was super frustrating. It's that's when you learn. It's you need to create something that's got a little bit of balance, or at least more. You need some more offensive action.
Also, I want to say this because I embarrassed myself in the week. I'd completed it, and I was frustrated to find out that there are abilities that you upgrade in the mirror. Those of you that are playing it will know what I'm talking about. You can flip those abilities to different ones if you go to the little arrow on the left-hand side. I had no idea.
Not straight away.
Didn't know you could do it.
That unlocks a bit later on.
Okay,
so you might just,
fine.
Yeah, you have a conversation
But just
with
so
Nick,
you're aware, you can flip those abilities to different ones. I had no idea.
And some of those other abilities are way better, if you ask me.
Yeah, but was frustrated when I went and checked those afterwards. I thought that I could have knocked a couple of runs off of my completion time. What was the other one? There was.
I was just going to say, has anyone else clocked how horny this game is?
No?
No? Do you not think?
What does that mean?
Just a lot of the characters are a bit like, I don't know, all quite exposed and a bit suggestive, and yeah.
Oh, I didn't. I think there's one character, obviously, is very exposed and suggestive, but that makes complete sense.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't see that with anyone else. Have you got a mod on, Sean? Have you stuck a mod on there, mate?
No, and to be clear, not a criticism at all. It's just interesting. And because I've seen people on Twitter going nuts over certain characters, aside from the obvious one.
Really? What characters?
Just loads of it. It's just because a lot of it's like the blokes as well, obviously, which we necessarily wouldn't notice right off the bat.
No, the blokes all have their chests out and stuff, but the
Dionysus,
female
mate,
characters...
he's got his legs right out, and you're all sort of crossed in front of you, and he's And he's a cool party dude.
The female characters aren't. Maybe I'm looking at it from a straight guy's eyes, aren't I? these women have far too many clothes on. I am not. I'm not picking up on the sexualization of male characters, but at the same time,
people definitely fancy Zagreus as well, which I get. I can see that.
He's got the two different colour eye things going on.
He has. Yeah.
I am interested to look into...
I just like his voice. I think his voice is brilliant.
His voice is very good.
I still think my favourite character is the dude that's rolling the rock up the hill forever. For eternity.
Oh, yeah,
what's his name?
Sisyphus. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's just like, don't give a shit. Like
it's really weird, yeah, because he should be so miserable. Like, he's literally in hell, and he's been
given... only character in the game with no... like grumpy attitude at all. There's no negative side to him, and yet he's the one with the worst fate. Yeah, out of the lot of them. Just like, you all right, mate? Yeah. There you go. She wants that. And even when he's like bumps into someone threatens him, he's like, see you later. He's great. I love him. There's some really good characters in this game. But yeah,
tons of them.
Cool. Hades. We'll be hearing about that at the end of the year, without a shadow of a doubt.
It's a fucking 10, isn't it? It's a 10. How is it not a 10,
mate?
How is it not a 10?
It's not. It's
mild frame rate issues. There you go. Fuck off. It's a 10.
Go fuck yourself. It's a 10.
Star Wars Squadrons. I've only played a little bit. I really like what I've played. I've basically done like the first 3 story missions. I've done it all in VR, and I think that is helping a lot. I don't, but I think I enjoy it on a fundamental level. Like, the VR is a nice thing to have, but I don't see. I'm pretty sure a lot of the experience would still survive just being on a telly. How have you? I mean, Dave, you've been playing it on a telly, haven't you?
Yeah, I've sold it today.
Whoa! Whoa!
Okay. Look, I can't work out if it's just not for me, or if this is a VR game that has been ham-fistedly made available for non-VR.
I know what you mean. Because we talked about this, didn't we? There's a lot of things about the graphics that you can get away with.
You
in
haven't
VR.
seen it. You haven't seen it, have you?
No, I'm just, even in VR, I'm just saying, there's I'm playing it and I'm enjoying it, but I mean I'm noticing that things are less detailed than I would expect. But
obviously that's even worse when you're playing on a normal TV, because the character models look so much more crisp than they would do on a VR headset. Yet some of the, especially when you're on the ship and you're talking to a character and a spaceship is flying through the window in the background, you can see that they've done the work on the models that are standing in front of you, but not the shit in the background. And you're kind of like, what is that grey square flying around in the background there? That's really weird.
That's what I mean. And in VR, you sort of forgive that stuff because it's immersive for other reasons. But yeah,
exactly.
So
and
if it's the same detail on the telly, that's maybe not great. But yeah.
And if it's less that stuff, because I don't care about that stuff. It's stuff in the background. I'm really not that bothered. I think if you were coming to play this game without playing VR games, I don't think you'd notice much either as well. But as someone that spent a lot of time in VR, you notice the VR tropes that that's in this game, that's on the telly, and it really does feel like, this is a VR game. Like the amount of times you're standing talking to someone, you're looking around with just the right stick, you can't move anywhere, everything seems to be happening around you, and if I want to go into another room to talk to someone, I don't walk over to that room and talk to someone, I pan my head round, put the crosshair in the middle of the screen towards the door, and it says press A, and you press A and snap, you're standing in another room in a fixed position talking to people,
See, and even that is weird, because in a lot of VR games nowadays you can walk around. Like
you
much
can,
more than
but
that.
if you think about a Star Wars game produced by EA for VR, they're going to think, what's the most, palatable way of doing these pre-mission conversations? It's not walking around.
But it's not just that, though, because, okay, a lot of this game is a throwback to like X-Wing and TIE Fighter, and the way that they were set up was exactly the same. Like,
okay.
You moved between scenes like that. Like,
fine.
Yeah.
I don't think that's why it's like this. I don't think it's a callback to those games. I think this was literally intended to be a VR game, and they thought, actually, why don't we just make this available and we can sell it as a normal game on Xbox and everything?
Or at least
that's how it feels to me.
Or at best, it was sort of like VR was sort of the lead sort of platform for it, and then they sort of worked backwards from there. But
it kind of feels like that. Now, again, James might be right, and that it's actually based on a set game style from the Star Wars games. I never played the games that James is talking about, and maybe it is a callback to that. But to me, as someone who's played lots of VR games and is coming into this, it genuinely feels like a VR game that they've stuck on a TV. And I just thought, I'm missing so much here. And ultimately, the dogfights, I think I got about 4 or 5 missions into it, and the dogfights I just found dull. Because you're not looking around, because you're not seeing, like, spaceships fly just past you and behind and stuff, and you could follow them with your eyes and then swing around. Or I remember playing it must have been at Matt's. I remember playing a dogfighting game, and I remember being able to look up, see an aeroplane, and then go, right, okay, I keep my focus on that aeroplane, I can maneuver the nose up to join up to where I'm looking, and sort of lower my head as it's heading towards the crosshair. Because you can't do any of that in this when you're playing on a TV. You've got a fixed position, you see a thing fly past, and then you just press the stick until you see it again. And 9 times out of 10, they fly past you again. And I'm kind of like, okay, I appreciate the systems that it's brought into it, and I'm sure you guys will go into this James has to talk about this the most because he's completed it, right? But
the story mode, yeah.
Yeah, the story mode. I appreciate the systems with the shifting the shields from front to back, or making it even, shifting your power from your shields to your engines to your lasers. Like, I like all that stuff, but ultimately, when I'm just like, I've got this fixed position and I'm just going around, locking on, pressing the missile button, I'm just thinking, I'm not having fun here. I'm getting frustrated with how shoddy certain aspects of the game are. Like, look, this isn't... I don't know whose fault this is, but this game does not do suspended gameplay very well at all. So this is on the Xbox, obviously. If I turn it off, turn it back on, and then pick up from where I left off, the game just shits the fucking bed. I mean,
it doesn't do that on PlayStation. It was fine.
Well, I mean, that's great. It does it on Xbox, and that's what I'm playing it on. And the fucking planes are like shivering about, and the spaceships are like shaking about. And I had a problem where I started a mission, and the spaceship just went around in a circle over and over again with "follow me" attached to it. And I followed it for about 10 minutes and thought, you're not going anywhere, you're not doing anything. So that must have been a bug. I relaunched it and it worked fine after that.
Just to say as well, like, because Matt will be screaming this as he's listening to it. So he had the apparently quite common bug where in the first mission, it's the second story mission, there's a Star Destroyer that you have to take down, and there is a bug where sometimes it just won't die. Like it'll get to 0 health and it'll all be on fire, but it won't actually blow up. And people have been like shooting away at it for about half an hour before realizing that it's a bug. So that's
there's
a problem.
certain way to like replicate that. I think it's if you die, like if you die from a checkpoint or whatever, and then you go back, it always happens like that. It's just like it's rubbish.
But
I just googled something because I know we're going to get messages about it. There is a free look in the TV mode, and it's
that'd be horrible.
It's not the same though.
To free look in Star Wars Squadrons, you have to double tap the R3 that's on the console, of course.
Yeah.
Really, no mystery there. What's been the confusion is the control menus tells you that all you have to do is hit R3. See, because I was doing that, I was clicking the sticks in to see if I could free look, and I couldn't. I didn't know you had to double tap it. So, okay, fine.
Well, yeah, why would you?
So I missed out on that, but at the same time, the idea of removing access to controlling the ship while you look around for a bit is not really... Yeah, it's not a great solution.
And that's the stick that you use for pitching as well, so it's not Yeah.
It is, so it's not even possible to do it. But I will say this, that's not the game's fault. How do you do that? How do you do that in a non-VR flying game? It's not an easy thing to do, is it?
Too many buttons. So yeah, just parking all of that for a second, it makes me feel like I am an X-Wing pilot in Star Wars in the most convincing way I have ever experienced, and I really like it. I certainly get what you're saying about this. So certainly in the earlier missions, the only ones I've played, like the TIE fighters and stuff, it is pretty much a shooting gallery, isn't it? They're not difficult to take down. But I'm assuming, I mean, I don't know if this happens in the campaign, but certainly in the multiplayer, things are going to get very, advanced. Like I've already seen articles like flying around. It's like, right, here's some basic like squad tactics that you will need to employ. I mean, the what I've played of the campaign so far, all the drama has come from, there's like little set pieces and stuff, as you say, you sort of, you being sort of Call of Duty style, you're sort of following a commander around quite a bit just to make sure you're in the right place for certain events to happen or whatever. But, it's a convincing enough illusion.
Sorry, can I just jump in here? Because I don't think I made this quite clear. All of the complaints that I have are about playing it on a TV.
Yeah.
I can imagine that in VR, this is absolutely incredible, because for those moments where you are following someone or you're just flying about or whatever, you're looking around at a fucking X-Wing, looking out of the window, looking up, seeing the planets, seeing other, like your teammates flying next to you and stuff like that. But I can't imagine how cool that is, right? I bet it's brilliant. On my TV, it was just looking forward and a spaceship in front of you with the word follow above their head. And I was going, why is this bit taking so long to fly to here? This is boring.
Whereas in VR, every second of it is like at least a little bit magical.
You're
just
in
because of the...
In VR, you're in space.
Yeah.
So,
there's certain bits like when you're like flying the X-Wing like right at the beginning, and like you fly into like the system, and then like you look out the window and you see, oh, my S-foils are closed, and then it's like the what's called like like there's obviously Imperials turn up and then they like open and you're like, oh, this is brilliant.
To make that point, all of the criticisms that I've given, I can imagine large portions of them go away when you're playing in VR. So I'm not trying to convince you it's a bad game. I'm saying that you've got the lovely gimmick that goes along with it, and I hope you enjoy that.
And ultimately, it's
I wouldn't say it's a gimmick though, because it's because you're saying it's a gimmick, but it completely changes the game. How is that a gimmick?
I'll tell you how it's a gimmick. Because saying that winds you up, look, gets you a little bit heated there, Dave.
And ultimately, like if it's if VR isn't mandatory for this, you're still selling it to people who won't have VR headsets and will never play it in VR. Therefore, the criticisms of it in TV mode are entirely valid, because that's just how some people are going to experience it, or most people are going to experience it.
Absolutely.
But so early missions, bit of shooting gallery, bit of scripting. But fuck me, just some of the moments I was getting in it, just things like, so you quite early on, you're blowing up like a few capital ships and stuff. that little run you do like underneath that Star Destroyer is cool as fuck. And it does the thing of like when you blow up a large ship, it doesn't just vanish, right? There is an explosion, but like there'll be these sort of great big fucking chunks of it flying around in space. And I was chasing after this one TIE fighter, and it sort of pulled off to the left. I thought, oh fuck, and like turned and then sort of pulled towards it, not realizing I was right next to one of these dead capital ships. And then I had to be like, whoa, fucking hell, and like fly through these like two bits of this massive ship that was just flying around in space. And fucking hell, it was brilliant.
So there was a moment I had early on where I had a TIE fighter right in front of me and it was flying directly at me, and I was like, fucking hell, I blew it up, it exploded into bits, and I flew directly through where it was, so all these bits went either side of me. Sean, it was like watching the start of Jackass 3D on a 2D TV where they're chucking the balls at the screen and you're like, why are they doing that? It's supposed to be a 3D film, that's supposed to be really cool. That's what it felt like.
But I mean, James, you've played the most.
Yeah, I mean, I've played through the campaign, and I was a bit disappointed in the length of it because I'd been led to believe that it was like between people get saying it was 8 to 10 hours. There's no way that's 8 to 10 hours.
Oh, really?
I probably over the weekend I probably spent about 4 or 5 hours on it, maybe, like tops, and I got through it. I mean, I played it through on normal. And it's not difficult. Like, it's quite easy to go through because there's lots of checkpoints as well. I only suffered one bug through it, which was one of those ones where it was like it wouldn't continue, the mission wouldn't continue, even though I'd fulfilled an objective. That was irritating. And then I'd reloaded the what's called the checkpoint, and it was fine. Yeah, it went ahead okay.
Didn't get that on Xbox.
Yeah. The story mode is okay. I mean, it really does feel like it's there to teach you all the mechanics. Yeah. That's like the main purpose of the whole thing. And although it's reasonably engaging, it's just not. I was left wanting more by the end of it because I just sort of felt, there's more they can do with this. It does feel like X-Wing and TIE Fighter, but like a kind of a slightly light version of it. Like, it doesn't go into like massive depth in terms of all the characters that you're sort of dealing with, but they're still engaging enough that it's sort of fun to fly with them. I mean, there's one guy on the Imperial side who I didn't really enjoy talking to because he was just incredibly depressing. Just talking about what a terrible life he'd had and how he was all being held together by bits of robot stuff and everything.
Was it Darth Vader?
It went on for. No, it's very similar, but then he just goes on and talks for ages. Like, each dialogue section is a bit too long, and I'm like, all right, mate.
Yeah, so is it Darth Vader? Is it Anakin Skywalker?
Worst thing about Darth Vader, fucking shut up.
Yeah.
He hates that sound, that but oh, listen to me. John said to me the other day, you can play FIFA now and you're excited about a Star Wars game. So he's like, this time last year, what the fuck? So, yeah, I don't know what's happened there.
Is that why you traded it in?
What's that?
Is that why you traded it back in? You felt like you were a traitor?
Pretty much.
You're like, this has gone too far. It's too far.
Yeah. Have you got Leisure Suit Larry behind there? Please, I'd like 3 copies of that.
But no, I'm really excited to crack on with it.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, Sean, it's like the feeling of being in it is incredible in VR. Yeah. Like, I spent the entire time like that, and I can't imagine like playing it on the screen. I think that because, as you said, David, the whole thing of like being able to look around you just makes such a massive difference. Like, where you can like track other ships. By the end, by the time I was getting near to the end of the campaign, I was like, sort of flying towards Star Destroyers, attacking them, and then like turning, but then like looking at like the damage I'd done, and like seeing where there was like laser fire coming from, and it just feels so good. Like, it really, really feels like so good. And then you also find yourself like preferring different ships because of the vision, like that you get. Like, the fact that these sort of X-wings and A-wings are much, much easier to fly because of the fact that you can see so much like around you, whereas the TIE Fighter is quite annoying because it's a very confined space and you really can only kind of look ahead of you, and it really sort of limits sort of the options you have. It's good. I mean, I still need to play some of the multiplayer and maybe the fleet battle stuff as well, but I do wish there was more campaign to this, that there was more single player stuff. Because it's very engaging. It's really good fun. And it has so many moments that were just. I mean, there's one moment I think it's in like the 6th mission, which it feels just so like something out of the film. Like it's so good. Like just the ending is just superb. And most of the characters are not terribly irritating either, which is a bonus. It's but it's great. It really is. I mean, whether it's up there as a kind of a game of the year sort of thing, I don't know if I can really say at this point because I need to play more of the multiplayer. But it certainly has been one of the most memorable experiences I think I've had in VR. I mean, Chen, like because she obviously saw me playing it and was like laughing at me, obviously.
So crying.
Yeah, she was like, which of these has been better? Is it like Bridge Crew or this? Like, which of your nerd games do you like prefer? And it's like, I don't know. You see, Bridge Crew, I don't feel when I'm playing like that, but I'm taking it entirely seriously because I'm playing it with you guys. Whereas this, I feel like I kind of am taking it seriously, and it's like I feel like I'm fulfilling a dream that I had when I was a child. and,
no, absolutely,
and that's kind of sad, but also amazing.
It's very sad. I will say this: if you are going to play this game, and when you're setting up your characters, you get to set up a character for the Rebellion and the Empire. Don't choose angry voice because, like, did you check that out, Sean?
I don't think I did. No, I must have heard it, but I can't remember.
I had a female angry character in the Empire, and it's fine. I imagine that when she's like shouting during battles, that'd be fine. But she acts like it for everything. So she's like, the character's like, okay, put your throttle up. Okay. It's like, all right, there's no need to kick off now. It's like, okay, I will fly over there then. Okay, all right, just calm down. It's just don't need this attitude 24/7. It's a bit weird. But yeah, it's a shame. Not for me. I think I found it a bit dull, but I also felt like I was missing out on 70% of the experience. And that's probably why I didn't get on with it.
I mean, also the other thing is, I mean, as I've talked about before many, many times, I was a huge fan of X-Wing and TIE Fighter when I was growing up. Yeah. And this, I mean, I'd say that this is those games light. Like, it still doesn't come close to those, like, in terms of, like, the amount of detail, I think, in terms, you know, like how you can manage everything. But it's kind of it's as close as I think you could possibly get to that on like a console, like with a controller. Yeah, I can't imagine how they could improve on it, and it is significantly better, I would say, than any of the Rogue Squadron games, which I never particularly enjoyed those too much because it always felt like they were too arcade for me. Really, I wanted more of a simulation, and this is what this feels like it is.
Can you get flight sticks for the PlayStation?
Yeah,
you can.
And if I get into the multiplayer, that's danger, isn't it?
Yeah.
Weighing
That's
it up.
James and Sean gone forever.
Weighing it up. Well, because I can sort of... No, justify is the wrong word. I was going to say I can sort of justify it as... Well, there's a Thrustmaster PS4 flight stick, although I think it's like fucking impossible to get hold of. But I was like, but if I get it for this, I can use it with the PC as well, and then I could get back into Elite Dangerous or whatever, you know. So that's tempting. It's like £75 though. And I've got an Xbox... speaker to pay for.
I got the speaker coming.
Got the speaker to pay for with my next paycheck, so probably not for a while. Like,
okay,
that's it.
Good game
from me. It is a good game.
That's it from all of us, right? Apart from Mario 35.
Yeah, I mean, I played about 10 minutes of this.
Barely touched it though. I don't understand.
Do you want to park that until Matt's here, or
sort of? Yeah. I mean, from what I've played of it, I've played 2-3 hours, and I don't understand what it's like. I'm at a point now where I understand the systems, but I don't know why they're good. So you know when you play Tetris 99, you play it and you play it like Tetris, and maybe you can get somewhere, maybe you can't. But then you start realizing that actually, although you're still playing Tetris, you also have to think about various different things, like getting badges, doing different moves at the right times, making sure you clear your junk pile, all that stuff.
Yeah, like you can't just play a good game of Tetris. You have to engage with the other stuff. You have
to take notice of the systems. And I think this is what it's trying to do here, but I I'm not convinced it works. So, by the looks of it, Tetris 35 is Nintendo's version of... Mario 35 is their version of Tetris 99, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for Mario. And it's something people have spoken about, and it was announced at their 35th anniversary of Mario thing, direct that they did. So you sort of play... It's like 2 levels on repeat, is it, James?
No, it's not 2 levels. It's like... Because you can go to like a warp zone or whatever, and then you can go to a different one.
You can, but I mean, the ones that I've done recently, you get to the end of the level, and then it puts you in a new level. You get to that end of that level, and it puts you on the previous level again.
I've not had that. I mean, I've had it taking me through like 3 or 4. Like,
No. I think I've done 3 as a maximum. And I finished like 3rd and 5th and 4th and stuff like that. And I don't really feel like I deserve to get there, if that makes sense. Like, I worked out that the idea is that you need coins. The more coins you got, the more power-ups you can get. And then you can activate a power-up at any time, fine. And also, it's good to have a good bank of coins, because one of the options to attack a certain person is to go for the person with the least amount of coins, and then you can just, every time you kill an enemy, it puts an enemy in the person that you've selected's game, right? The other thing you can go for is the person with the least amount of time left. So there's a timer in the top right, as you used to with Mario. Every time you jump on an enemy, you get like 2 seconds back. And if you do like repeated jumps before hitting the ground, then that multiplies, so you can get 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds. The more more enemies you jump on. The thing that I don't understand, if you're attacking the person with the least amount of time, you're chucking more enemies on their screen. Surely that gives them a better chance of just getting way more time back. Yeah. So why you would do that as an option is completely bizarre to me. Like, what I've had a moment where I had like 10 seconds left, and then everyone was aiming for me, and my screen filled up with enemies. So I just stood there, jumping on all their heads, and then I looked and I had like 150 seconds left. I was like, well, that's given me an advantage. I've got way more time now than I did. Like, so what is the point? And then you get a 15-second bump when you reach the end of the level. So there is a reason to get to the end of that level. But at the same time, if you just stay in one screen and people are just lobbing enemies at you, you're earning just as best amount of time with just staying in one little area and jumping on enemies.
I think the solution to this might be really obvious as well. Like,
go on.
Surely you just make it all a forced scroller.
Yeah.
Because, as you say, the problem is that, so people can chuck 20 enemies at you, but then you just stop and you just let them slowly walk towards you and jump on them one by one. But if the game was forcing you to keep moving forwards, those enemies would actually be really dense, and you'd have to figure out ways to navigate around them. So, because obviously the thing, like with Tetris, it's really bad when people dump a load of blocks on you, because you've also still got your own blocks falling constantly, and you've got to get rid of the excess ones. Like, it's a problem. Whereas if Tetris 99 was just like, well, here's a load of blocks, but take as long as you need, mate. Just clear them when you're ready. That wouldn't work.
Yeah, but there's either that, or you only get time back when you finish a level.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get time back for killing an enemy. That makes more sense.
So that's then your impetus to actually finish quickly. Whereas,
sorry, James.
No, you do get time back for killing enemies.
I know.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said you didn't. I don't know.
I'm saying that's a way to improve it. What if you didn't get time back for killing enemies, and you only got it at the end of the level?
Yeah.
Okay. Because so then that makes people to go through it quickly as well.
Yeah, it forces people to go through it quickly. Obviously, people chucking enemies at you is a bigger disadvantage because they'll slow you down. Or either that, or it's 35 people playing Mario, and the last person to get to the end of the level is chucked out. If you die, you're out, and then the last person that gets to the end of the level is out, and then it moves everyone to the next level at the same time. A little bit more like Fall Guys.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that whenever I've got higher in the rankings in this game, it's always been because I've just been really slow and been hammered by enemies by other people. And I just kind of feel, this is not the skill of Mario, is it? This is just...
No.
I don't know.
I couldn't
get it.
Yeah, okay, so maybe they're not going for the exact same sort of feel as Tetris 99. But as you say, if it's like Tetris 99, you'd play a good game of Tetris and you would think about this extra strategic stuff on top. Whereas this seems to run counter to what good Mario play is. Like it seems to reward really slow and methodical play, which just I don't know. I mean, I've only played a little bit of it, but I mean, everything you're saying checks out with my experience of it so far.
But then Matt played it for 3 hours straight last night, and he come out saying he fucking loves it. So I'm looking forward to him coming back next week and probably sitting me down and going, "No, you're completely misunderstanding it." So, and there's every chance that that's going on because I didn't have a stream of people on a chat next to me going, no, you should do this, this, and this, and explaining it to me. So
jump on the enemies.
Hopefully,
supposed to jump on the enemies.
yeah. So I'm looking forward to hearing what Matt's got to say about it next week. But he seemed to really enjoy it. I'll stick with it because it feels like I'm missing something rather than it's bad.
And because obviously it took a couple of weeks before Tetris 99 really sort of unfolded properly, isn't it? So fingers crossed, we're just missing something. But
I thought Tetris 99 that hit. People were into that straight.
Oh no, people were into it, but it took a couple of weeks for people to understand what badges were.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like I remember playing it for a week, and then someone going, "Watch this video," and the video was like, "Okay, so as you play, you earn badges," and I was like, "What? What a badge? When? How?" And then once you understood that system, you're like, "Oh my god, it's fucking genius." Yeah. Okay. Fine. So it seems like we need to play more of that, but we'll talk about that more next week. Okay, are we ready? Should we do emails?
Yeah, questions, not necessarily emails.
They could be just questions if you want.
How'd
they get in touch?
That's what I say every week. I just say, you just call them questions, Dave.
Sorry.
tcgs.co/TCGS. Scientologist. He's not a Scientologist. But he says, with Mario 35 coming out recently, another great game after the fantastic Tetris 99, I got wondering, what would each member of the pod think they'd be really good at if there was a game number version to appear where the number has to be more than one?
Shit. It's kind of like, what's the best game? Like, what's your best game? I think really...
I'm trying to think of what would just be a good idea, not necessarily what I would be the best at. But then that's me just not answering the question properly. No, I'm just trying to think what would I want rather than.
I'd like to see a proper racing game, like a Burnout style game with this. Yeah, like if they did Burnout 99 or whatever. But then that's kind of what
Trackmania did.
Yeah, that's kind of what Trackmania is like. I mean, it's not. But it's got a similar sort of feeling.
Plus, Burnout already had multiplayer. I guess the trick is it's something that's typically single player, right? And you're sort of adding this weird extra dimension to it.
God, Christ! I mean, that is so limited. There's not many games that I look at and go, well, obviously my one is Freeze, then, isn't it? It'd be Freeze. If I could I'm pretty quick at it. I can, loads of people playing Freeze at the same time, and every time you do something, it adds a crap tile to their thing. Fuck.
Such a good idea.
That could be excellent. Who makes Freeze?
I don't know.
Oh, come on. They're they got really well... hold on, let me just have a look. I'll have a look at this because I want everyone to tweet them and say, are we getting a Freeze Battle Royale game? Because I heard that on TCGS, and my word, what a great idea.
If they're not interested, the people that did 2048 probably will be.
What's 2048? Oh, yeah. Let's rip it off. Can people get into the touch with the developers of Freeze and say, Dave's got a great idea, listen to him, get him involved. He wants a cut. A please.
I can't think of one I'd actually be good at.
That's the problem, isn't it? Because when I think of see all the stuff I like playing is single player, but there's no way that any of it would be any good for like a battle royale kind of thing. Like you can't have like Phoenix Wright 99, can you?
Why not?
Oh yeah, you could.
Why not?
Just do like solving the courtroom more quickly than other people.
Yeah, and every time you pull on the right thread, what could it do to someone else to fuck them up?
Now, what if it's like, what if it's different? What if it's Phoenix Wright versus 99? And actually, what you're doing is that you're being Phoenix Wright. You've got to quickly go around, gather evidence, and then you've got to present it in court. And then the 99 players are the jury, and they decide whether you put a good case together or not.
All the 99, they're all defendants, and you've got to be like, no, he didn't do it because he was at his mum's when that happened. You're fine. He did.
Yeah. And you got one player's gumshoe.
That totally worked.
I'll play that game.
Yeah.
Do you remember that game, the RPG game, where you had to make the whole story yourself?
No.
It was fascinating. So, to say you were the player, right? And the way they presented it, or the way they sort of pitched the idea to the audience, was it showed someone playing an RPG game, and they walked in, and you can type anything you want in, and you were like, "Oh wow, it's got a really good text thing going on."
You're talking about Scribblenauts?
No.
Yeah.
So you type whatever you want in, and the player, like the NPC in the game, would say, "Yeah, how you doing here? Oh, why don't you fuck off?" or something. The player would put, and he went. Yeah. Please don't use that language. And you were like, oh, it's got like a text detection thing. And it said saying, oh, you can understand me. Yeah, I can totally understand you. Anything you say. Like, say anything. And then, oh, well, what football stadium does Man United play in? Oh, Old Trafford. And then it flips around and you saw that you're actually playing a multiplayer game. And there's someone actually live responding to everything that player was playing.
Right.
And they've set up these whole scenes where different things happen. Mate, it was brilliant. If anyone remembers that game, let me know. But it was pretty special. Sean, I can't believe you don't know what this is.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah, it was amazing. I think it was made by the same guy that did Passage.
Oh,
do you remember that?
Sleep
game?
is Death.
Sleep is Death. I think that's it. Yeah. I remember spending weeks on that.
Did you?
That was.
I tried it with a friend, and it was a cool idea, but just a bit. I can't remember. Like I sort of did or said a few things where it was like, oh fuck, I haven't planned anything for that, and I had to sort of
and then you tweak it and stuff. I had this whole story where you were being led to an execution. You were being executed. You were being led. It was probably wildly insensitive, and you were being led to an execution with another inmate at the same time. And then, as the story unfolded, you found out that the inmate was actually a ghost of someone that had been executed prior to you. Mm-hmm. And it was like, whoa, think about that. I hear everything he said, and it was rubbish, but it was like when you were actually controlling all that stuff going on, it was pretty cool. Sleep is Death. Yeah, what an interesting game. Where did we go? Sorry, we were talking about was it
Sleep is Death 99 coming to Xbox One Series S.
I'm trying to think of Untitled Goose Game 99.
Oh god, yeah.
Where you've got. Oh, I didn't mention that, did it? We played that over the weekend. The update that come out quietly.
Oh yeah, is that the 2-player one?
How is it? Does it work?
But, I mean, no, not really. It's you can't go too far away from each other, and it makes all the tasks about 1 million times easier because all you have to do is have one of you just quack or honk while the other one goes and does what they need to do.
Of course, just distract everyone and just
But it's a lot of fun, Sean.
Yeah.
Harry and I were just running around the gardener, just honking repeatedly at the same time. It was a lot of fun.
I might see if New will play that with me. I think that'd be all right.
Possibly, I think maybe give a pad to Isaac. Honestly,
I mean, he's not very good.
It doesn't matter. You don't need to be very good at it. All you got to do is get into the garden and honk at the gardener, and you will laugh for about an hour straight. It's so funny. It's good stuff. Yeah, so that's our answer.
Yep. It certainly was. Jamie John says, "Hi chaps, hope you're all doing well. Having completed Disco Elysium this week, which I thoroughly enjoyed, I was excited to go back and listen to your spoilercast episode on the game, which I remember when you were repeatedly talking about it earlier in the year. Imagine my horror, therefore, when having trawled through the older episodes of the pod, there was no spoilercast to be found. This in spite of the fact that back in February and March, when James and Dave were playing through the game, Sean talked about how a Disco Elysium spoilercast was, quote, inevitable, and Dave mentioned that there would, quote, definitely be one. My fear now is that the ship has sailed and you're not going to get round to doing a spoiler cast on this fantastic game. Will I just have to wait for another podcast, like Kane and Rince, for example, to do it justice instead?"
I mean, you can wait for them. I don't know if they'll be doing it justice.
Why don't we wait until... Because I want to play it again when it's released on consoles.
Well, that's basically the plan, isn't it? I think we're just going to wait for the console release and then... Because it'll be zeitgeisty again, won't it? And we'll get more...
It'll be the new Hades.
More hits for doing it when that happens. And that's not us being cynical, because Kane and Rince do that as well. So...
Yeah, I don't know if I remember enough of it now. I'll have to do a bit of research. A lot of it sticks in my head, but you need to know a lot when you're doing these spoiler casts.
Yeah,
it needs to be fresh in your mind, doesn't it, James? Especially if you can't be asked to take notes.
That is a big problem, yeah.
Okay.
Maria Mendieta says, "Dear TCGS co-councillors of decency." Have you given up
fighting, James? Have you given up fighting?
Yeah.
Not even 11 PM. You might actually get your 2-hour episode here, James.
I know. This is what I'm banking on. So I'm trying to keep the answers short.
James,
keep it going.
Sean, can you just make up questions? Good.
Listening to your revisionist chat about Mario Galaxy feeling better in your memory than in your hands, I was hit with pangs of nostalgia that sent me digging through old gaming magazines. Leafing through the pile, I came across an advertisement for the Game Boy Advance SP Tribal Edition, featuring Mario doffing his cap with his right hand, while his exposed left arm sports a prominent tattoo. Strangely enough, I don't recall seeing the shirtless Mario in Odyssey flexing a culturally insensitive Polynesian tattoo. What happened to it? If the top brass at Nintendo asked Mario to remove it and get a less offensive one elsewhere on his body, any help towards solving the mystery of the missing tattoo is greatly appreciated.
Well, I know the answer.
It's a henna job, isn't it?
Yeah, he went to the same place as what's his face did when he got the Halo 2 tattoo. Who was that got that? Who was it?
Peter Moore.
Peter Moore,
yeah, he's working for Liverpool now, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah, it's Peter Moore. He went to the same thing. I've seen recent interviews with him where they ask about the Halo tattoo, and he goes, "It was real. It's still there." And they say, "Can we see it?" And he goes, "No."
Like, mate, no one will think any less of you.
No one would. It'd just be a funny little, oh my God, it was fake, because it was blatantly fake.
Because of course it was fake. Yeah.
If that was a real tattoo, search Peter Moore Halo 2 tattoo. My word, it was an awful job. If that was a real tattoo, then fucking hell, sue.
Yeah, sure
it's absolutely shocking. Have you not seen it recently, Sean?
I haven't, no, not for a long time.
Have a look now. Just Google Peter Moore Halo 2 tattoo and have a look at it. And you go, oh my God, that was actually... There's no way that was actually tattooed on a person.
Peter Moore Halo tattoo.
It's fucking incredible.
Oh God, yeah, that's really... The fucking November 9. Right?
Yeah, it's really ropey.
Oh my God.
But that's what I think. That's what I think happened to Mario.
Yep.
Apart from the fact that he's a fictional character that hasn't actually been tattooed there, and that was probably only done there for a little bit of an advertising campaign.
Yeah.
But who wants that as an answer? Eh? James, probably.
Yeah.
We're getting one-word answers out of him from now until...
I was wondering whether it was like a transfers. You know, those.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's just a henna. Tattoo. Or
they still do them.
Oh, yeah.
I remember Harry. Right, okay. I don't think Jo knew about transfer tattoos. Genuinely. I don't know how she missed out on them, but I don't think she knew about them. Because when Harry got a ton of them in some gaming mag that someone bought him, he coated his arms in them. Jo helped him. Yeah. She put them all on for him.
Yeah.
2 days later, she's going, "Oh, they're not coming off." I'm like saying, well, no, they don't. They last about 3 or 4 days, maybe longer. Bits of them stay on there for about a week. Yeah. Well, can't you just scrub them off? No, they don't just scrub off. That's the whole point.
But it'll be
otherwise, you just put a bit of biro on.
Yeah.
You can't get a Brillo pad out and then start scrubbing your 6-year-old. Like, their skin's a little bit more, you know what I mean?
The sandpaper would be fine. No, don't do that.
She was very upset by that.
Yeah, no, because I remember we got a load of transfers with, I'm going to say Sonic the Comic, when I was in primary school, and me and some mates put them on our forearms, and it was like,
hold on, mate, are you trying to take my place in the Matt Murray Appreciation Society?
Well,
is that your pitch?
If the member of the Appreciation Society decides that that's the way to go, then
when I got my Sonic tattoo,
which I still have,
I got
Peter Moore style. So basically, it's just some fucking transfers, and it was like this big moral panic in the school. It was like I don't know, like they thought we were going to, resort to gang warfare or something.
What is that about schools?
Ludicrous.
What is it about schools? Anything good? It's nah.
No,
you know what I mean?
That's too much fun.
Like the
Pogs, forget it.
The Pogs, no. Gambling, what? Gambling, no.
I do sometimes daydream about when Isaac's at school and there'll be a fucking letter home and it'll be like, oh, this is whatever, this is the new thing we've decided to ban, and me just being like, oh, fuck off.
Yeah.
I forgot.
They just don't like it, do they? Anything that kids
it might just be
fuck it, ban it.
I mean, maybe the times have changed, right? Maybe,
No, absolutely not. No way.
No?
Loom bands. They were banned. I remember them. All the stories about loom bands. They were banned. That was the last thing, wasn't it?
I don't think I remember those.
Oh, Squidgies was the last thing.
We had all that with Rachel.
Did you have Squidgies as well?
No.
You didn't have Squidgies?
Nope, don't even know what they are.
About a year ago, I think it was.
James was trying so hard not to just nope. Nope, not heard of those.
No, I don't own 40 of them.
Next question, please.
They're like these little, I don't know, these squidgy things. They're just little. They're shaped in different things like apples and cakes and stuff, and they're just like foam, but they're really, really soft. And
sounds dangerous. Should probably ban them.
Fidget spinners, they were banned, weren't they?
Were they? Why?
Yeah, some people get hit or some shit. I don't know. Fucking
do you know what?
Suck.
I am guessing. Well, yeah, right. So actually, this sort of highlights the hypocrisy. No one stopped us playing Conkers. I fucked my hands up playing Conkers as a kid. That is legitimately quite dangerous.
We
had loads of stuff like that banned at school. Like Conkers was banned. We had like those Coca-Cola yo-yos as well. They got banned, and also the tiny Coca-Cola footballs from Italia 90. They also got banned.
Why did they get banned?
Yeah, because we smashed windows with them.
Oh, fair enough.
Also, drugs. For fuck's sake, come on, teachers, get down with it. The game that got banned from our school. This was at Rains Park. Oh shit! Should I have said? Yeah, I can say that, can't I? Yeah, I went to Rains Park High School. The game we used to play, you'd sit around on a table, you get a 2p out, and you would put your finger on the top and flick it, and it would spin, right? Yep. And then you had an order in which you had to flick it while it was still spinning. And so you had to keep it spinning by keep flicking it in order. Okay. If you fucked up, you had to take your fist and put it as you're looking at your fist, the top part down on the table, so your arm is vertical, right?
I know where this is going.
And your knuckles directly on the bottom of the table.
Yeah.
The other person put the 2p down and had to flick it at your knuckles as hard as you could, right? And you keep going until you bottled it, basically. Mm-hmm. By about lunchtime, all your knuckles were covered in blood. Absolutely coated in blood. All the skin was missing from your knuckles. And the teacher, after about a week of playing this, went, you're not playing this anymore. This is actually getting dangerous now. There's no sanitizing of that 2p in between flicks. Like, this is not happening anymore.
God, yeah.
Secretly, I'm pretty sure they were all standing outside watching and betting on it. Like, almost definitely.
Yeah, the teacher who banned it was one who just lost 20 quid. That's what happened.
I don't think this is good. If anyone played that at their school, can you let me know? Because as far as I'm aware, that was a Rains Park High School. Like, that was their game. We invented it.
Right,
anyway,
Sean Thomas says, "Hi TCGS.conglomerate. I've joined the 21st century and bought a PS4 this weekend, just as everyone else is ditching theirs, and I'm excited about now catching up on a decade of Sony games, having also skipped the PS3. Played a few of the system's older greats on Switch, like Doom, Witcher 3 and Firewatch, but I wondered what the first 3 games you'd be recommending would be. I've yet to play The Last Guardian to complete the trilogy, despite the varying reviews, and I will tackle Bloodborne when I feel in the right headspace, but otherwise I'm open to anything." So basically, PS4 exclusives, what have we got?
What's the ones that you mentioned that he's played already?
They're
Doom, Witcher 3 and
Doom, Witcher 3 and Firewatch, but I mean, they're all
there's so
aren't they?
many. James, take this.
Okay, so Last of Us 2. Also The Last
I was
of Us.
going to say all one, because you
that.
skip the PS3 as well, so...
If you never play that, then play that, because they're both on there.
Yeah.
Yakuza 0 as well, but then I think that's on Game Pass as well.
It is.
Yeah, it is,
good.
Yeah.
Probably Horizon Zero Dawn is definitely worth playing.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Yep.
I go for the Spider-Man.
Yep.
That's not a bad idea.
Fall Guys at the moment. You can't play that anywhere else.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've played it on PC, Dave.
Yeah, but like, I'm talking. Come on.
I mean, more recently, Ghost of Tsushima, I think, is worth playing.
Oh yeah, that's getting the co-op update next week. Yeah. That'll be exciting.
What else, though? We're always talking about their amazing exclusives.
God of War. That's the other one, isn't it?
Oh, God of War, of course, yeah. God of War is a must-play. You've got to play that.
Do you know what else I keep meaning to have a go on since I've got the PSVR set up again? Wipeout. They did that big remaster, remake.
It's good. It's good in
amazing.
VR.
Yeah.
It is good in VR. I would say most of their really top-end stuff come out towards the end of Gen, didn't it?
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah.
What happened for the first couple of years?
Well, no, it was stuff like The Order, wasn't it? Like Order 1886
The Order 1886. What a game. What a weird game. You played that last year, didn't you?
I did, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was fine. I thought it was absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with it. And
it's strange, though, isn't it?
Well, I think it's partly people weren't happy because it's so short. It's really, really short. And if you just
4
paid
hours
50 or 60 quid for it, then you'd be probably annoyed. I paid about £4 for it, so I was quite happy. It was fine.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. I just thought it was really the world that it sets up's pretty cool, but
I mean, some of the early exclusives were not good. I mean, Killzone Shadowfall as well.
Yeah, but that was launched, right?
We're
talking the first 2 years. I was trying to think that period. It's funny, isn't it? Because to me, this generation felt really short. Yeah. It didn't seem that long ago that we got our PS4s.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, when you mentioned The Order 1886, I was like, fucking hell, that felt like a lifetime ago. So, yeah, maybe I was wrong there.
Yeah, I mean, I got... So, one of the first things I played on my first PS4, which I didn't get anywhere near launch either, was, Destiny 1. So, yeah.
Oh, Christ,
and that was the
There's
beta
also
as well. So, been a while.
Uncharted games. You can go through that series, which is great. That's another really good series.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Uncharted must be hard to go back to now.
Yeah,
the first
that's
one,
the problem.
Second one, I think you just about get away with it. Third one, I found really hard going. But you need to have played those to fully appreciate the fourth one, right?
Yeah.
The fourth one plays on a lot of the previous games. But still a good game in its own right.
Until Dawn, that was a good game.
That was a good game. What do you call it? But Bloodborne, is pretty much one of the top ones, right? If you're okay with Souls games.
Yeah.
That was it's pretty good.
It's not a Souls game, it's completely different. It's blood instead of Souls. It's totally different. Liz Walker.
All right.
says a couple of weeks ago you were talking about pot noodles, and it reminded me that I still have 2 pots of Final Fantasy VII Remake branded super noodles in my cupboard. I don't even really like super noodles that much. Have you? Any good?
Yeah, because it didn't Final Fantasy VII Remake come out at the start of lockdown, didn't it?
Oh my god, yeah, I suppose it did.
So we, at the start of lockdown, I don't know why, but we were buying Bachelor's super noodles quite a bit. I think because it was really cheap, we were worried about money.
Yeah, I was going to say, apocalypse shopping, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it did for lunch.
Yeah.
And yeah, they had...
the absolute worst.
For some reason, they had these codes in there for Final Fantasy VII, but I was just sticking them all up on twitter.com.
eBay.co.uk.
Yeah. That game was... It was so weird. When I first started that game, I thought, my God, this is so good. And then I got to one point and it fell off the fucking cliff for me and I just had enough.
Did you finish it?
Nope.
Ooh,
I went back to it last month.
Okay, because I
you know what? I need to finish it because I'm relatively near the end.
Okay.
Like I think I'm like 2 missions away from completing it.
Yeah.
And I started it and I just thought, I can't. So I just turned it off because it was irritating the fuck out of me.
But
it was a shame.
Liz Walker says, have you made any similarly questionable purchases because they were branded with something related to video games? I don't know. I don't know if I have.
Not really. I never buy those sorts of times.
I mean,
really.
like fucking t-shirts and shit back in the day, but I think I'm pretty good. I mean, actually, yeah, questionable purchases simply because they were branded with something related to video games. Yeah, the special edition of Grease that I got. That wasn't cheap.
Yeah.
That was not cheap.
Did that arrive?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Love it. It's one of the few game art books I actually will just sit down and have a flick through occasionally, rather than just like looking at it once and going, right, on the shelf, that's that. It's beautiful.
That's the other thing, though, isn't it? Is that the quality of a lot of this stuff, it has improved, isn't it? Like, if you think, like the Mario encyclopedias that have come out and like all that stuff, that's way better than anything that was around when we were
100%, and they were way more expensive back then as well.
Yeah.
I would, that the Mario encyclopedia, Adam Capone bought that for me for, I can't even remember what for reason, but it's been brilliant watching Harry play through Galaxy and refer to that encyclopedia constantly. Like, he's just kind of like, I'm at Gusty Gardens now and I'm doing this and that's in there, and and he every night he reads that book. So thanks for that, Adam. It's still getting good use. But there must be, fucking hell, I must have loads of these. There's definitely stuff that has had
I feel like I must have some, but I'm struggling.
Yeah, it would be, for me, it would have been something like a pair of trainers that are branded by something that was in a game, like Feeler trainers or something when I was a kid.
You got a pair of sketches after you played Sonic Adventure?
Probably. Something like that. I don't know. I was obsessed with all that shit. So, there's no doubt.
There was
do you buy Mario t-shirts now?
Nah.
I do. You want to check out, who is it?
Zavi.com.
No, Uniqlo do some really good ones.
They do.
Yeah, they do.
I say, wait, hold on.
I
say I bought them. Harry bought them for me for Father's Day this year.
Oh, nice.
He bought me the one with the little Mario on the pocket, and then you pull the pocket down, there's a bomb behind it, or bullet bill behind it. And the other one he got me, it just says 85 to 20. And it's got little Marios underneath it, so you wouldn't even know it was a Mario shirt.
Doesn't that imply that he's dead?
Love that t-shirt.
Doesn't it imply that Mario's dead?
Well, no, it's the 35-year anniversary, isn't it?
No, it's just the year-to-year thing. It's just like, that's what you do.
Maybe it is. Maybe that's quite dark.
Yeah, because Uniqlo they've done loads of really good Monster Hunter shirts, and they do a load of good Pokemon stuff. Like Isaac's got a load of Uniqlo Pokemon shirts. They're cool. I say cool. I mean, it's nerdy as fuck, obviously.
Oh my god, Harry! Some kid come up to him at school recently and said, "No one likes Mario," and apparently Harry burst into tears.
Fuck that kid!
That's ridiculous.
I had to have that conversation. Well, I sort of sat him down and said, "Do you like Mario?" He went, "Yeah." So that's all that matters, then, mate. Honestly, I like things that no one else likes. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Just focus on what you like and not what other people like, and then you'll be all right in life, in my opinion. You'll get people like that. It's heartbreaking, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Reminds me of being at school. Sucks, man. Fucking hell, school's not done right out of this podcast, is it?
School's fucking wank, mate. School's the worst.
It's really not very good, is it?
No.
I mean, I remember people, like, the popular people at school that are like, they just wish you could reverse time, be back at school again. Absolutely not. No. We happier now. Thank you very much. If you're popular
in school, you're a fucking sociopath. Like,
or you were the prom queen.
Yeah,
it's one of two.
Do you ever? Are you in contact with anyone from high school or primary school?
No. Yes, technically, but I'm talking Brit school. When I went to the Brit school, I'm still in contact with a lot of those people.
Oh yeah, okay. That's different. They're caught above, aren't they, Dave?
So that was from the age of 14.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
I found right. Okay, I'll have to send you the photo actually. So obviously we could potentially be moving in the next couple of months, right? So we've been clearing all this stuff out. I found a picture, I found a folder of just some really old photos, and I found a picture that I took of Katie Melua, who was sitting behind me on the coach when we were looking at universities to go to. I had no idea that, I had no intention in going to any of these universities. It wasn't an option for me. But I went along because it was a free piss up. Yeah. And Katie Melua was behind me in the thing on the bus. And I don't know how the picture came back, but I found it there and I thought, this is weird. I wonder if I could sell this to the Sun or something. Sorry, that just come up. I went to school with famous people.
Yeah. I know. Him from the in-betweeners and that, baby. Yeah.
Go on.
Last one. Actually, this is a good little segue. Deadbeat Punk says, "Hi-oh, pod chaps of sublime proportions." I don't know what that means. Times are hard, and to rake in a bit of extra income, you all decide to become celebrity impersonators. As a team, work out who would impersonate which musician, politician, or actor, etc. Bonus points if you decide on a band you could do as a group.
Good question.
How many people are in Take That? There's only 4 now, isn't it?
I can't remember. I don't know. Joe would know.
Dave would definitely be Robbie Williams, though, wouldn't he?
Matt would be Robbie Williams. Or David be. No, Robbie Williams is out. He's out now, isn't he?
Yeah, I'd be Robbie Williams. The entertainer, but without substance. Do you know what I mean?
Who's Gary Barlow?
Who'd be Gary Barlow?
Yeah. I don't think any of us are. I wouldn't dare take that mantle. I couldn't do it.
We all know who Jason Orange would be.
Matt.
No, James. Jason Orange was the one that was like, why is he even there? But no, this could be any celebrity. Why are we sticking to Take That?
I don't know. It just seems like a good place to start.
Can you do an impression of a celebrity, James?
No.
Well, you're going to have to try,
I can't
surely.
Think of anybody. I can't think of anyone.
I mean, we've said before, I think I can do a good Luigi impression, but not a celebrity. Is it a good impression, or am I an idiot?
Yeah, that doesn't count. You can't do Luigi as a celebrity.
Yeah, that's true.
That's ridiculous.
Doesn't exist.
I'll do Charles Martinet. that's my impression.
I don't know if he qualifies as a celebrity to normal people.
Good point. Fuck, can I do... I'm sure I must be able to do... Can you do a Boris Johnson? Try and do a Boris, James.
How do you do that? It'd be just like...
Yeah, you just sort of
normally
and sort of
that was,
shake your head left and right
the
as you do it.
No, it's more like, go out. If you want to leave your house. No, that doesn't work either. I can't do...
Let's go between every sentence. You see, no, I've never been good at impressions. I mean, when I had hair, people said I looked like Justin Timberlake.
People were taking the piss, I'm afraid. So to confirm, they were taking the piss.
I mean, it was more the dance moves than the hair, I think, and the singing ability.
We really can't do impressions. I'm sure there's a couple that I can do.
Probably, it's just one of those. I don't know. I've never tried, and I'm certainly not going to do it on record for the first time.
If I could I do a Ricky Gervais? Probably, because that's my persona anyway, isn't it? Really, these days. How about could you do an impression of Matt, James?
No.
Why just say no? Just give it a go.
Because I haven't got the energy like to do Matt. I mean, it's like
it's 10 to 11.
Be too... No, it's not that. It's just he's always like buzzing and all that, and that's not me. It's a bit difficult.
Operates on a level that we can't replicate.
Oh man, what a shitty way to end this segment.
Yeah,
we haven't really got an answer for you.
Maybe I'll
Sorry
just cut
about
this. We should have just gone with. We should have just run with the take that thing.
Can suggest it. Like who do I think we could do?
Who's who? What? If we were the Beatles, who's who?
Know.
I'm John Lennon.
No, surely you're McCartney.
Why?
Yeah, you're definitely McCartney.
Because McCartney was the front man. But then who's Lennon?
Yeah, Lennon was the ideas guy.
Yeah.
That's me.
Matt then, isn't it?
Matt's McCartney, isn't he? He thinks he's the main one, but really, we all know.
But actually, that does sort of work.
I'm going to be Ringo in this, aren't I?
You're absolutely going to be Ringo in this, yeah. I mean, you can think of how many other four people that you can get
if it's
together
any consolation,
where one
James,
of them's a bit shit.
Exactly,
James.
Sean's off as George Harrison doing his own career and having a great time while I'm voicing children's cartoons and stuff.
Right, the Power Rangers. Your fire. Whose heart? James. James's heart.
That's Captain Planet.
Captain Planet, I think you'll find there, Dave.
Oh, it was Captain Planet, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I get the Power Rangers as Captain Planet.
No, because the kid who had heart could calm down animals and stuff. I think that's very useful. Actually,
not when you're fighting evil, mate. The evil of pollution.
I hated that cartoon.
It was shit, wasn't it?
It wasn't good. It really wasn't good.
Would they have rings and they'll put them together and then become Captain Planet? Did they become Captain Planet?
Or did
No. They summoned him.
They summoned him, and he was just this big dude with green hair.
Yeah, blue skin. Because he was the planet. I mean, why have the whole system with the rings and stuff? Like, if Captain Planet just exists, surely it's better for him to just do everything himself. Why wait for the kids to summon him? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, he's just sitting down, just go, oh, for fuck's sake.
I mean, I think the whole thing is just flawed, isn't it? For this early 90s children's television programme.
Sean. I don't know if you've noticed, but you can sit there and go.
But I think Captain Planet was particularly flawed. It was just rubbish, wasn't it?
How did those cars in the Disney Pixar film Cars build those buildings? I mean, how are they lifting bricks up and putting them down, Sean? How is that happening? Why? How comes? I mean, I've told you this one before, but why in Blaze and the Monster Machines? Why is it only Blaze has a human driver and the rest of them just go around without drivers? Why is that happening? How is that?
He's not trusted, obviously.
I mean, this is why
saving.
This is why Cars is shit, isn't it? Because
Cars one's all right. We've been through this.
None of that stuff adds up. Whereas in a lot of the other Pixar films, it's sort. I know we have, but it's still the world needs to know. Well, all the other Pixar films have a consistent internal logic, and Cars, it's just a load of shit.
But look, Cars is decent. We will talk about Pixar films a lot more in the coming episodes of our bonus show. Matt, do you want to do the socials?
Yeah, go on then.
We get James to do the socials. Remember?
No, I'm not doing it.
No, you did it last time and it was really good.
It was.
No, it wasn't. It was, come on.
Everyone said it was great. James.
I didn't.
Let's get to the socials.
Okay. So I absolutely was not prepared for this.
Sean, let's just be completely quiet, okay?
Yep.
Apart from the laughing. James, socials.
Okay. We'd really like it if you could watch us do Twitch streaming. So I stream on a Friday, and then Sean does it sometime in the week, and then Matt does it on a Sunday every time. And if you've got Amazon Prime, you've got Twitch Prime, and we'd love your subscription to that. That'd be really nice. Thank you. Is there anything else? I don't know. If you want to contact the show, you can contact us at... It's the form, right? Which is like contact... I forgot what it is. I've completely forgotten what it is. It's on the website or it's on Twitter, and then you can like contact us and like talk to us about things. And yeah, but thanks for listening. It's appreciated. Is that right?
I don't know. Is it there might be more? Have a think.
Is there more?
There's a list.
What else there is?
There's a list in the doc.
Is there? That helps.
Yep, it does.
I have to open it again.
If you.
I closed it. I didn't know this was going to be happening. This is what I hate. You always spring things on me. Like at the thing, I didn't know this was going to happen. I've done Twitch. I've done the contacting us thing.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on, I'm just scrolling down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm nearly signed in. Right, here we go.
I'm nearly signed in.
No, it's okay. So
you can't say that after you've lied. I'm scrolling down. I'm just looking at it. I've nearly signed in.
It does that thing on Google Docs.
It's like when you phone
when
a taxi's late and you phone up and they're like, "Yeah, it's just coming around the corner, mate," and you're like, "No, it's fucking not. I'm
on the corner."
Yeah, I'm here. I know.
We've got a Patreon which Dave talked about at the beginning of the show, and so I'm assuming it's patreon.com. Is it /TCGS? I assume so. And tcgs.co for everything else.
There we go. And we will catch you next week. Thank you so much for living it. We love you all. Goodbye, everybody.
Ta-ra.
Goodbye. I was a bit disappointed in the length of it because I'd been led to believe that it was like between, like, people get saying it was 8 to 10 inches.